It's partial consent, but it's only partial consent. They shouldn't have charged me that much. They shouldn't. It shouldn't have been. I don't know how y'all stuff is, but it's nothing to this city. No, it's partial. $13. No, it's just 13. Well, okay, I'm down. Okay, listen, I'm down. I'll call you later on. I'm gonna get the phone call when I get to the house. Love you. Thank you, baby. Bye-bye. You want me to do my best? Okay. All right.
The time is now 5:07, and I hereby call this Finance Committee of the Flint City Council to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis?
Present.
Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashad is not in. Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett?
Present.
You have 3 members present.
We have 3 members present. We are at ease until a quorum can be established. The time is now 5:14. Madam Clerk, please roll call as we come back from ease.
Mr. Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis?
Present.
Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns?
Present.
Ms. Mashat is not in. Mr. Pfeiffer?
Present.
Mr. Jarrett?
Present.
You have 5 members present.
We have 5 members present. Second. The reading of the Disorderly Persons Code, City Code subsection. Any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of Flint City Code Section 3110. Disorderly conduct, assault and battery, and disorderly persons, and will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given 1 warning. If they persist in disrupting the meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from the meetings. Also, under the Open Meetings Act, it details statutory requirements for individuals wishing to speak before a public body. A public body must allow a person to address a meeting of the public body under rules established and recorded by the public body. Flint City Council Rule 29.8. Any person at a council meeting may be called to order by the president or any council member for failure to be germane, for vulgarity, or for speaking in excess of the allotted time, or any other violation of these rules. Rule 29.9. Any person who is called to order shall yield the floor until the chair shall have determined whether he or she is in order. If a person is determined to be out of order, that person must yield the floor and forfeit any remaining time. Madam Clerk, are there any additions or changes to the agenda? Hearing none, it's now time for public comment. Madam Clerk, who is our first public speaker?
The first speaker is Renee Anderson.
Good evening, everybody. I'm back here I was down here on the 7th, talking about my son, Kevon Sykes, that got killed downtown Flint Memorial Day weekend, when there was over 1,000 people down there. Somebody got to shooting, people got to running, my children got to running, and the bullet hit my youngest child. I want the public to know, is y'all aware that they found 100 casings? There's a lot of stuff y'all just don't know. Do you know that my brother called me all the way from Las Vegas? Renee, what happened? What are you talking about? Why was the police standing over Kevon with guns pulled on him and he laying down in the street? Why is 7 or 8 policemen got their guns pulled on my son? And he was not a shooter, he was a victim. Back to the Flint police. Why won't the Flint police release any files, footage, cop cam, or their forensic of that bullet to my lawyer? Since 2022, they have denied releasing any files to my lawyer till 2025. Right now, they still won't release. Now, my lawyer asking that the Flint Sheriff Department let them come in, see the footage, see that cop cam, and give us the forensic of that bullet. The autopsy was incomplete. It doesn't even mention it. And I want to know also, why did the police stop a man that was down there by my son trying to stop him from bleeding? Come to find out, it was my oldest son trying to help his brother because the blood was coming out so bad that he was down there giving pressure to his brother. And the police told him to get the F away from him. I didn't see the police down there trying to help him. I want answers. I will be here every time I'm able to come and speak, because I will be the squeaky wheel to get the oil. Everything in the wash will come out in the rinse. The only people holding us up is the Flint police force. They won't release anything. They won't give no answers. They're not doing anything for 3 years. Now, why is that? How can you hold an autopsy from a mother for 3 years? I want answers. And I like that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. I want the public to know what's going on. Why are they doing this? Now, somebody knows something. I want to say thank y'all, and I will be down here fighting for my baby because he can't fight for himself. Thank you.
The next speaker is R.L. Mitchell.
Hello, I'm Mario Mitchell. For the record, the last week, council, they asked somebody to say the prayer, but she refused, and gave it to Meshach. And since Meshach prayed that prayer, I received 3 letters in the mailbox. And it was a blessing to me from Meshach prayer, because they said, sir, it's time for you to retire and claim your retirement funds, but you're lacking 4 points. But through the one with the money bag, I was gonna go to you, but somebody else in City Hall gonna make sure I get along with the budget plan with no matter what. Because don't want to mess up the city of Flint no matter what is messed up now. Don't want to take care of the peoples, but I want to see how it feels like to get a check once a week too, like everybody else. Full retirement from General Motors Truck Assembly. And one of them letters had a blue rosary in it, blue sea rosary. They said it's unusual, but they gave it to me from the nun from the, and another one was called from the government talking about, it sounded like it's a threat. He said, next time you vote, sir, you better use these 4 numbers, because you sound like I'm responsible for messing up the whole Flint. But you, Miss, you'll deal with that after you get with the budget plan tonight, because you carrying the money bag. But like I say, kudos to Meshach, but Meshach now what's the other woman who refused to pray because a preacher went in the house? And enough of that, but while I was in my house, some news coming across the radio told me, and a woman was running for mayor, her and her daughter, and all of a sudden I heard gunshots. It sounded like you, talking about 5 shots fired, and when the thing blew up, they act like she was running for mayor, but her and her daughter was dead. They act like the cartels did it, and they did it, and then all of a sudden, another one, the Mexican got a Navy ship, hit Brooklyn, New York. I'm hearing all that while I got them 3 letters in the mail. And what you think that all happened because Candace Meshach prayed, talking, if my peoples will humble themselves, will seek my face, and I will heal the land. And I couldn't wait to get here. I got the letter in my pocket now, and I'm being dealt, since the lawyers won't deal with it, but anyway, stay tuned, America. We're going to see how we deal with the cartels. They act like they taking over Mexico ever since the president named Mexico the border. Stay tuned.
Next speaker is Arthur Woodson.
Let me start by saying, since Sister Littlejohn can't get up here and say what you did, Judy, you dirty for that. You called the meeting to order when it was only 3 council people here. Y'all late all the time, man. So people don't be here all on time like everybody else do, because y'all late. And you called the meeting to order, so could nobody put slips in to speak? And it was people still coming. Y'all sit back just to do dirty mess. And then Liddell sit up there and frown at people instead of just listening to see what's going on, man. That's dirty mess right there. Y'all don't want to hear people, y'all don't even want to hear the residents speak, man. But let me start off by saying this real quick. Judy, Councilwoman Priestley, Councilwoman Lewis, You all, I was watching the video. I couldn't make it. I was out of town. And you all kept on throwing that $75,000 around that St. Mark's got. Councilwoman Lewis, for you to be second ward council person and for St. Mark's to be in your ward, not one time have you sat down and asked Pastor Thompson what happened with the $75,000. Because if you did, you would have understood why he didn't use the 75 reimbursable dollars. The mayor wouldn't sign it. All y'all got vindictive ways, man. To be elected officials, y'all are some of the dumbest elected officials I ever seen in my life. Y'all are demons, man, demon childs. Look at you, looking down. Don't care about nothing. But see, that fifth vote is coming, and I swear to God, if it was me, that's why I can't be a councilman, because I'll suspend you until November 2026. That's what I would do. I would make y'all spend money. In this budget, y'all have real taxes and property taxes. What I didn't see on those millages was CS Mott. And I've been asking this for a couple of years now. Why is it everything on there, and if you look at the itemized winter and summer taxes, you'll see CS Mott debt and CS Mott operation. Why isn't that on there? Why don't y'all have to vote on that? Why are we being taxed for something we don't know about? If you know the answer already, please let me know, because I've been asking this question for years now. And I want to know how it keeps staying on there. And then the law offices, the mayor appealed Crystal Cooper's case. He told the lawyer that we told William Kim not to appeal because it's not winnable. He said, do it anyway because we can delay it. They spending money just because. Y'all should put everything back to 2019. Do not give the mayor his budget. Thank you.
The next speaker is Claire McClinton.
Good afternoon, Council. Want to thank Councilwoman Burns and Winfrey Carter for attending the 11-year commemoration we had last Friday, and thank you, Judy Priestley, for letting us know you would not be able to attend, but you did acknowledge it. It was a very emotional event, it turned out, as people shared their stories of their families and themselves, the deaths in their family, the sicknesses that they secured. One woman talked about the miscarriage, and it was a very cathartic event. And every once in a while, we need to come back and recognize what we have been through. Because the purposes of these commemorations is to say, never forget and never surrender. Never forget and never surrender. That is the purpose of these events. Now, having said that, a few days later, here come the Environmental Protection Agency with a gut shot, another gut shot to the city of Flint by saying, the emergency is over. How can the emergency be over when we still don't have settlement money, the water's still not safe, the water's still not affordable, there's still much to do infrastructure-wise to get the water system up to par. We still have health issues, and we have asked that the residents impacted by the water crisis have health care like they gave in Libby, Montana. Y'all look that up. Libby, Montana, Medicare for all. They had a health care crisis. It was included in the Affordable Care Act. But for some reason, we in Flint couldn't get it. Now, we come up here and tell y'all what's on our mind, what are bothering us, and a lot of times we suggest things that fall on deaf ears, like $16 million additional dollars for rehab. But this time, because of what the EPA has done, and it has pushed us into further crises, health-wise and quality of life-wise, by them lifting the emergency, I would like to see this council write a letter from this council to the EPA and say that this is not acceptable, and talk about the challenges that we still face here in the city of Flint. You can do that. You've written letters beyond the city limits in the past, and it's time to write another one. You wrote a letter, you put $20 million in the settlement money, but you haven't wrote a letter saying where's the money for the residents. Now that seemed like that would be natural. Thank you.
The next speaker is Sandy Jobin.
Good evening. My name is Sandy Jobin. First of all, I want to announce that Kenneth Miller resigned from the DPW. And also, I think it's pretty sad that we still have rules for me but not for thee, or rules for thee but not for us. I was at the last meeting, and the gentleman sat here and pleaded his case with the children, stating that he wanted to voice his opinion, and you guys allowed it. But yet, you pick up the box before you even have quorum, and that's all about control. And that's all Flint has ever been about, is controlling the people. And you guys are forgetting that these people voted you in, unless they didn't. And that's why you have nothing to lose, because you were placed. Maybe they thought they voted you, or they didn't vote you in, but you guys were placed by somebody. Now you can take that whichever way you want to. And as far as the recount goes, my understanding, being involved with the recount just recently, is it doesn't matter what the results come out as far as the recount, whether you find bags that you can't even identify the voters. We found over 1,500 votes that could not be passed. And they said, well, we go back to what the original debate was, or what the original outcome was of that night. So why do a recount? All you're doing is charging somebody to have that recount done. And I don't know what the deal is as far as that third ward seat, but man, there's something riding on there. There's something big riding on there, because you guys are doing everything you possibly can to get this other Shonda, I don't even know her name. But, the big focus should be is, where are the children? Where are the missing children? I have listened to story after story, and I was at the water crisis dinner or thing just a few weeks ago. It brought me to tears to hear the story of the mother that had the son left down at the hospital in Ann Arbor, left there with no identification, no nothing. Brought there from McClinton Hospital because they didn't want to treat him with Legionnaire's disease. And then told the mother to just let him go. Gave her morphine to do it. What the fuck is going on? I am so sick and tired of this society, and I don't care. I am doing my First Amendment right.
Your time is up.
I am doing my First Amendment right. You cannot take my fucking word.
You are asked to sit down.
I didn't say fuck you. I said what is going on?
I heard it. Please sit down.
Really?
Your time is
That's
up.
the only time you pay attention. You are nothing but a treason
Please
traitor.
sit down.
You are treason traitor.
Point of order.
What's your point?
You asked her repeatedly to sit down. That should be a second order, and she should be removed from this meeting. I'm going to say it again. I don't know if you heard it. Yeah, so you asked her repeatedly to sit down.
That is true. I will give her a warning. Thank you very much. Go ahead. Next speaker, please.
The next speaker is Allison Montgomery Littlejohn.
Point of order.
What's your point?
So she submitted her information.
That's what I was going to just ask. My understanding is that she had not when the box had been picked up. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
She submitted her information.
Go ahead.
Point of order.
What's your point?
So I just want to be clear because according to our council rules, you cannot proceed and you cannot put your name in the box after the meeting has started, because this happened before. So what is the rationale for letting this slide this time? Madam Clerk?
Madam Clerk.
There was a question about the quorum, but the information is in the box. But there was a question about starting the meeting without a quorum.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Ms. Litter.
Point of order, point of order, point of order.
What's your point?
Madam Clerk, what was the question about starting a meeting without a quorum?
Madam Clerk.
The question was, how can the council have a meeting when there's no quorum? Start the meeting without the quorum. And there was a question about whether or not it was legal.
And was it found to be legal?
There's a legal opinion that says that what council has been doing.
So when the meeting started, was her slip in the box?
Yes.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Ms. Davina. My name is Allison Montgomery Littlejohn, and I came here to address my concern about the EPA's recent decision to lift the Flint water emergency order. In an ABC 12 News article dated May 19, 2025, it was stated that since the EPA's emergency order was issued in 2016, Flint has made substantial progress, including testing below lead action levels since July 2016 and replacing more than 97% of its lead service lines. Additionally, yesterday evening, the following organizations, NRDC, ACLU, Concerned Pastors for Social Action, and What Are You Fighting For, sponsored a celebration at a local church because Flint is, quote unquote, on the verge of completing the court-ordered pipe replacement program. These two actions contradict Flint residents' complaints about having discolored, bad-smelling water and corroded pipes. So I was going to speak more about this, but I am so pissed off. Councilwoman Judy Priestley, how dare you? How dare you start a meeting with only 3 council people present to stop people from speaking at this podium? How dare you? Low down, low class. The next time that casket come to Flint, maybe it should be marched in front of your house. Since you are, thank you. I'm just so disappointed. Very low class of you, Miss Judy. Very low class. I took PTO to come down to this meeting from my job. So I made a sacrifice to be here. The least you could do is respect that. Additionally, Councilwoman Dr. Liddell Lewis, I do not give you permission to dishonor me or disrespect me. Don't you ever in your life stare at me in an intimidating way while I'm sitting in the audience. Don't you ever do that ever to me again. You got away with it a few years ago at Flint Community School Board education meeting. It won't happen again. Check yourself. I don't know who raised you, but you better get it together. And you too, Miss Judy Priestley. Get you some morals and a conscience. How dare you?
That was the final speaker for this meeting.
That was the final speaker. It's now time for council response. Members of the council shall have 2 minutes to respond to each I'm going to read it. Sorry, I was doing it off my memory. Council members may respond once to all public speakers only after all public speakers have spoken. An individual council member's response shall be limited to 2 minutes. Is there anyone who'd like to address?
Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. So to all the speakers and those who could not get their names put in the box, you need to make sure you support someone for that 3rd ward who will uphold your First Amendment. It's just going to be a problem. I do want to say this. When the EPA, number one, stated that they were lifting the emergency and it was a celebration, it is not a celebratory time. I'm still asking for the list of the homes that the service lines weren't changed, and I have not gotten it. And this is over a year and a half. I have not gotten it because I will knock the doors, and I've stated, for my ward and any of the other ones if I have to. Haven't gotten it. So if we don't have all the service lines replaced, we do not have our, we had violations before. Our administrative consent order, the violations, these still stand. Still haven't figured out how we gonna pay for this list because he's now resigned, our DPW manager. He said we didn't have funding for it. Then we have the water distribution optimization plan. 2 crucial plans to make sure Flint has safe drinking water in our infrastructure, and we don't have the dollars. So I'm not understanding why it's a celebratory moment. It's not for me. When I took over the weekend even, and yesterday 2 calls about people who need to have their service lines changed. Flint has got some issues, but it gets down to who's in whose pocket. These plans are they're not funded. They are required by our administrative consent order. You can download it. It's 177 pages. I've talked about it numerous times, and it's something that's serious because that water flows through everything.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much. So I just want to highlight a couple of things that have happened in the city of Flint. I am definitely excited to report that the inaugural Flint Litter League that took place on the north side collected over 42,000 pounds of litter on the north side. So that is definitely a major feat. So we're looking forward to taking this Litter League to the entire city, and I can only imagine what we can do with more teams and more boots on the ground. So a special thank you again to the LaShawn Johnson cleaning crew, to Mayor Neely's Blight Squad, to big brothers, big sisters of Genesee County and Greater Flint, didn't want to mess that up, as well as to the MAID Institute for making all of this possible, a lot of dedicated volunteers. And so we also have the Silence the Violence Walk, which is taking place this Saturday at 1:30 p.m. at the Sylvester Broom Center. So all residents that are interested in silencing the violence are interested to please come and participate. Your participation is needed in your city. And then lastly, we are having a tree planting party. We have joined up with Climate Resilient Flint, and all the trees that were knocked down during this inclement weather. We're looking at planting brand new trees, healthy trees for our environment. Somebody is yelling out.
Please be respectful as we discuss up here. Go ahead. Keep going.
Thank you. So the tree planting party is taking place. We had 2 so far, but the next 2, they're going to happen at Cooper Avenue, Sarvis Park. So we are planting 33 trees. If you would like to help us drop those beautiful trees, please come there at 10:30, or you can contact me for details. And then the last place is going to be June the 7th at the Friends of Hasselbring Park on Home Avenue, where we will be dropping 32 trees. So come and join us as we help make our neighborhoods beautiful.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Just a couple of things. Congratulations on the Litter League. That is awesome. We definitely need to address blight and have things cleaned up. The north end and the east side could certainly benefit from something like the Little League happening all year round. And so congratulations on that. That was the brainchild of Dr. Lewis in the second ward. So thank you for helping to clean up our city. I do want to also address, and you know, as a conservation girly, I do believe trees should be planted, but I also want to be mindful, and I'm not saying they're not, because I know the way in which they're planting trees now, it's kind of like a cluster small forest thing, but part of the reason we're running into the issue with our trees now is that they were all planted at the same time, same type of tree, same age, and so that's when you end up 30, 40 years down the line with trees falling down, or they're dying all at once and all over. And so while I do applaud the efforts of what's happening with the trees, because I understand that they're being put in kind of like a forest concentration, I do want us as a city to just be mindful in the future when we're planting trees to maybe do different ages, different types of trees, different locations, so that way 30 years from now we won't have what we have now every single time there's a storm. To Ms. Claire McClinton, I believe the mayor did write a letter asking them to release the money. Correct. I'm going to finish my sentence because this is not a back and forth, because I was about to say that you were correct in the fact that healthcare for all should have happened here in Flint. And that should have been something that everyone should have pushed for, was healthcare for all. And then I also want to acknowledge the fact that we all found out about the EPA lifting the emergency the same time everyone else did. We found out in the news. It would have been nice to have a conversation to be able to address some concerns, but Ms. Claire, like you said, we need to write a letter. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? I see none. I will address Mr. Woodson's question about the Mott millage. Mott is a separate taxing authority, and it was voted on by the residents of the Genesee Intermediate School District. So we do not approve putting their millage on. It is by law. So their debt service and their operating were both voted on by the residents of this community, not just the city, but it's the Genesee Intermediate School District, which is the Mott's service area. So if you live within the Genesee Intermediate School District and you own property, you will be taxed automatically. No local unit will vote to put that on the tax bill, because it is already. Thank you. Going on,
Madam Chair.
Yeah, go ahead.
So before we go on, I would like to have a point of order. So we do have a gentleman with the tripod there.
I have already asked the clerk. I'm waiting for her response on that.
Point of order.
What's your point?
I believe the council member was talking to the chair, and there was an audience member speaking out of turn.
All right, you can have one.
A request for information.
What's your request?
Oh, y'all, please, can we have a decent meeting with respectfully? Yeah. Are we waiting for a legal opinion from the attorney or from
I'm asking the clerk. I've asked the clerk.
No, you can keep going. I'm just pulling up the resolution that was adopted.
Pardon?
You can continue, and I'm
Okay.
just pulling up the resolution as adopted.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. So it's now time, what is your
Madam Chair.
request?
I'm going to say a point of order. Through you two, she's waiting on,
What's your point of order?
my point of order is regarding the resolution to the city, because if this, we're waiting
Your
on.
point of order is always to the chair.
Okay, Judy, to whoever today. So,
Excuse me, point of order.
What's your point?
The colleague in the 6th ward is not allowed to disrespect the chair. That's the point.
Go ahead, Ms. Burns. Go ahead, Ms. Burns.
My question is, the tripod ordinance that was passed, it was for a tripod. I don't believe it said singly or freestanding. And I think we may, well, I don't know, she's asking the city attorney, because I believe, through you to the city attorney, I believe it says tripod,
No,
as in
no,
three.
ma'am, you cannot address the city attorney,
y'all
only
are
myself.
ridiculous.
I am waiting for the clerk's response.
then
She
I'm
will get
asking
back
you,
with me.
Okay, I'm asking you, do you know if the ordinance said, or through you to the chair or to the attorney, are you telling me I can't speak to the city attorney? Or ask him a question?
Not as a point of order, you must address the chair,
Okay, well, request for information then.
What is your request?
Request to you to the city attorney. I would like to know the tripod.
Point of order.
What is your
That's
point?
not how this works.
No.
Being on council this
Go
long, we
ahead.
should know this.
Go
Listen,
ahead. Madam,
listen.
excuse me.
Hold on.
The
hold
clerk
on.
is back with an answer.
I still had the floor before.
But I just took it away from you.
You know what?
Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna tell y'all what.
Madam-
You gonna be here by yourself today, and I'm not even talking to her down there, but I'm asking you as the chair.
Point of order.
What's your point?
She's
This is great.
she is
I'm talking
taking
to
the
the
floor
chair.
using privileged
I'm
motion.
asking like you did. I said point of order. You're intervening. You're taking.
Point of
the-
order.
What's your
You
point?
already stated the point of order to the chair, and point of order was denied. So we're waiting.
No, I
so
did
we're
I
waiting
did a
on.
request for information.
And I denied that, and the clerk just came back.
Listen.
Madam Clerk, what does the sign say? What is the ordinance?
Tripod.
Excuse me,
Thank you.
what does the resolution say? Madam Clerk, are you prepared to answer that at this point? Or shall we continue to the consent agenda?
You can continue.
Okay, well, it's now time for the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Madam Chair.
Yes,
So moved.
it's been moved by the Councilwoman in the second ward. Is there support? Okay, there's been a total separation. Huh? Of course. And then she'll leave. Okay, the first resolution is Resolution 250131-T, Prevailing Wage Standards, City-Funded Construction Projects. Is there a motion?
Motion to keep in finance.
There's a motion by the councilman in the 8th Ward to keep in finance. Is there support? Is there support? That was by the councilman in the 9th Ward?
Yes.
Okay, this is the vote to keep Resolution 250131 in finance.
Mr. Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis?
No.
Ms. Priestley?
No.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
No.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Vote is 3 yes, 3 no.
The vote is 3 yes, 3 no. That motion failed. I'll entertain another motion.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I'd like to put a motion on the floor to move that to council.
Point of order. I could not hear her because she's speaking to her mic clear, please. I couldn't understand it.
She
Sounded
made a
garbled.
motion to send to council.
Okay, thank you.
So the councilwoman in the 2nd Ward has made a motion to send to council. Is there support? Is there support? It's been support. It's been supported by the councilwoman in the 7th Ward. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so in case the colleagues didn't know, the city attorney's office has lost some attorneys, and I want to make changes to this, and I can't get answers to it. So if you want to you want to kill it tonight, let's do it. Let's just kill it. But I will not be supporting it in its current form.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Any other discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So, we have no clue what's happening. Only thing we know is that the councilwoman in the 6th Ward told him to separate everything on the agenda, and then he did so. And so we don't
What's your
have.
point?
You're just lying.
That-
You're
I mean, just like he didn't call me a monkey or jump at me or
Well,
have his brother
excuse me,
come and
that's out of
intimidate me,
order.
but that's fine.
That's out of order.
So moving on.
That's out of order. Go ahead.
So,
Cannot address
so
past
we have,
instances.
it sounds like that,
Point of
it's
order.
some knowledge that,
Point of order.
What is your point? What is your point?
Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple of points. One is page 26, section 3-0104, that you must respect and show decorum for your colleagues and also the residents. You're not doing that. I'm not being disrespectful, but you're being very hasty.
What is your?
Now, my next point is Robert's Rules 43.21, speaking to my motives. I absolutely did not ask him to separate. So she is a big liar. A big liar. I didn't ask him to do that. Did not.
Request for information.
What is your request?
I was wondering if my colleague in the 6th Ward knows that I heard her ask if he was going to separate, and then he turned around and said total separation.
No, that is not saying separate. No,
all right.
You just said you didn't say it. Gotcha.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Got you too.
People, please. I did rule that point of order out of order. So go ahead with that. Go ahead.
all right, thank you. And so hearing that we're missing an attorney and because of that, talking about killing this, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what my colleagues know that we don't pertaining to this resolution. So that was a big reason why I have no clue on why he decided to leave this here. So I had no clue. So I would definitely like to hear more during this time of discussions if my colleagues have that information. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
So generally, what happens is, and I see I got here late, so we're off to a not so civil start. Generally, what happens is that we do have discussion so that people can express, hey, this shouldn't go because they want to fix something or they have questions or something of the sort, so that everyone has an opportunity to support their reasoning for wanting it to stay here. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion in the first round? Any other discussion in the first round?
It's not, but point of order, Madam Chair. So I'm just checking in with the clerk about the, because I see we have we have a tripod to join us in the front row.
Okay. Madam Chair.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, you are out of order. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Madam Chair, the resolution that was adopted by the council on May 29th, 2024, resolution adopting a designated videography area in city council chambers, freestanding camera stands. The resolved paragraph states that all use of freestanding camera stands, including but not limited to tripods, camera stands, and other physical devices used to support or elevate cameras, cell phones, or other video recording devices, is restricted to an area to be designated by the city clerk in the northeast corner of the city council chambers during those meetings. Persons in violation of this resolution will be deemed to be acting in a disorderly fashion and shall be ordered to leave the meeting. And any unattended video equipment shall be deemed abandoned. So if there is any stands or anything used, a physical device to support the camera, then it is in violation of the resolution.
So I'm going to ask the two gentlemen in front who are having stands that hold their cameras to either go back to the videography area or to remove themselves from this meeting.
Request for information.
What's your request?
Did it say freestanding? It's not freestanding.
It says,
It's not free, those are not
it
freestanding,
also
those
says,
are
or
being held.
anything that elevates.
It's not being elevated above their head.
Madam Clerk, can you read that part again, please? Doesn't matter, it's the rules.
A point of order.
What's your point?
Yeah, so we have the gentleman in the 9th Ward is speaking to the colleagues' motive, saying that we don't want them here. We just
No,
want
the
everybody to be
colleagues
compliant
are
to the
speaking
same
to their
rules.
own motive.
So that's what
Your
we would like to have.
actions are speaking to
He's
your
out of
motive.
order.
You are out of order, Mr. Jarrett.
You know what? I got a
ma'am.
dying relative at a hospital tonight. Call me out of order. Give me a second so I can go home and be with my family. Do that.
You are getting your order. You are out of order. And that's your first warning.
You're burning my fucking ear.
So, Madam Chair, is he released from this meeting? The guy that just
Yes.
yelled out. And then what about
Go
ahead.
Councilwoman, let me deal with it, please. I am the chair, not you.
Request for information.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, could you please reread the part again about the freestanding and elevated?
And Mr. Jarrett has a request for information.
Oh, I'm sorry, did not hear you, Mr. Jarrett. Okay, go ahead, Ms.
It
Dunn.
says, all use of freestanding camera stands, including but not limited to tripods, camera stands, and other physical devices used to support or elevate cameras, cell phones, or other video recording devices is restricted to an area to be designated by the city clerk in the northeast corner of the city council chambers.
Okay, seeing that those are used to elevate the cameras, you must go back to the videography area or remove yourself from this meeting, or I will have you removed. What?
It says freestanding. Freestanding, anything that is freestanding that is used to elevate it.
Point of order.
What's your point?
I did give that to the city attorney so that he could take a look. He may need time to look at it, because he did not have that before. So, I mean, this, I wish, can we just go on with the meeting while they're figuring out?
I did not receive
Oh, it didn't come through?
anything, no.
Okay, I'll resend it.
Okay, we will pause that on that, but I am asking you to remove yourself as soon as we get an opinion. Go ahead. This is the discussion. We're at the first round on resolution 250131. Members speaking were Mr. Pfeiffer, Dr. Lewis, and Ms. Mashat. Is there any other discussion on this resolution in the first round? Seeing none, I'll entertain any discussion on the second round. Is anyone
Madam
like to
Chair.
speak in the second round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Okay, so
Dr. Lewis.
I heard that the rationale for not moving forward with this was because of the lack of one attorney in the law office. So through you to the councilman in the 8th Ward, so how does that hold a bearing on this resolution? I mean, we can laugh, but it's a city business, so that's fine. So the councilman in the 8th Ward refused to answer the question.
Mr. Woodson, you may leave. Yes, he did get a warning. He got a warning earlier.
Madam Chair.
This is your warning. It will be possible, but this is your warning.
Y'all gave me this hill, man. Y'all set the tone, man. Talk worried about the fucking. That's right.
Is there any other discussion in the second round?
So, as I was saying, I didn't finish my time.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it's not a problem. So I asked the councilman in the 8th Ward, what was the link between the two so we can have an understanding. And according to our rules, you ask a request through the chair for the information so it can help you decide your next vote. And that's exactly what I was doing. And so since the councilman in the 8th Ward refused to engage per his requested duty as a councilman, now we don't have information. And we're sitting over here mad. This is when we talk about personalities taking over the job. We can't afford to have this happen. We must be consistent with the rules, and we must work with colleagues. If we're not going to work with colleagues, please continue to stay home, take another vacation, get absent again. But those that come, we're here to do the work. And giggling and laughing about the work not taking place is not funny. So, I would like to definitely compel my colleague in the 8th Ward. You've been missing for several weeks. Please go and then take care of your loved one.
Point of order.
Point.
Wasn't the colleague absent in the last meeting? And she's going to call me absent?
Well, thank you. And so, if you want to talk about that point of order, I had a conversation with the chair. They knew why I was not here. Okay, so we must make sure that we keep the main thing the main thing. The main thing is Mr. Pfeiffer not stating what one lawyer being minus from the legal department have to do with not moving this resolution forward to council. I don't understand. And so, since I don't understand, I can't be in support of keeping this in finance. So I'm going to vote that we move this to council, and hopefully my colleagues will get on board and supply the information so we can move as a body, as a functioning body. But again, if I'm not here, I watch the meeting and I know what's going on. So, and I encourage my other colleagues to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you.
Request for, no, I'm gonna do a point of order, because you need to, according to our charter, and there's a lot of disrespect, page 26, section 3-104, it speaks of decorum. She doesn't have decorum, and you need to warn her. She's talking about monkeys and what in making allegations. That's not what, in our charter, it states that we must be respectful to the constituents and to each other.
Ms. Burns, I did call that point of order when she discussed the monkey issue out of order. I did call her out of order for that. So, any other discussion in the second round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
So I believe we need to go ahead and, this is the prevailing wage. I think, never mind, let's vote on it.
Let me look at this. Is there anyone from the administration who can address this resolution? On the prevailing wage, is there anyone from the administration who can address the resolution? Seeing that there isn't anyone at this moment, I will make the motion to keep this in finance. Is there support?
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded to keep this resolution in finance. This is the vote. We've already made the resolution.
I withdraw my
We've already
support.
made you're going to withdraw your support.
I'll sit back down.
I've already called for the vote. Okay, Madam Clerk. It's all right. Thank you, Lauren. Yep.
Dr. Lewis?
I don't know what we're voting for.
Keep in finance.
Okay, got it. No.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is absent. Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat? Yes. Mr. Pfeiffer? Yes. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin is absent. The vote is 5 yes, 1 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 1 no. That will stay in finance. The next resolution is 250140, reallocation of ARPA funds, use job training.
Madam
City of
Chair.
Flint. Yes.
I would like an opinion from the lawyer.
We already called the vote.
She hadn't even started with roll call though. And so I'm just asking if I could have withdrawn my support.
City Attorney, she asked if she could have withdrawn her support even though I had called for the vote.
My question, Madam Chair, was even though the clerk hadn't started the roll call.
So the clerk had already started the roll call?
No, she had not.
She had not started, but I had called for the vote.
Right, but that's my
Right,
question
right,
to
right,
the
right.
attorney.
Could she withdraw her second on that motion?
I'm sorry, but I didn't hear what the question was.
Okay, the question is that after I called for the vote, Ms. Rawlings said that she could address the resolution, and Ms. Mashat wanted to withdraw her second of my motion to keep this in finance. And I said that I had already called the vote, and so I said we were going to vote on this. And she wondering if she could withdraw her second on that motion.
I believe you already had called for the vote, though, right?
Yeah.
So I think that would prevail.
So once I call for the vote, you can't withdraw. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so the next resolution is 250140, reallocation of ARPA funds, youth job training, get out of my way, City of Flint Second Clean and Safe Summer Program. I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
I move that we send this to council.
It's been moved by the councilwoman in the second ward to send to council. Is there support? It's been supported by the Congresswoman, by the councilwoman in the seventh ward. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none?
Madam Chair?
Go ahead, Mr. Jarrett.
Do we have someone from staff to speak to this?
Is there anyone, hello, staff, is there anyone who can address the Safe and Clean Summer Program? Time's ticking, come on. You know, there is so much noise in the back that we have trouble hearing, so can I please ask for people to be quiet? Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Through you, Chair, to the Speaker. Where are we with identifying potential fiduciaries in that, with this?
My understanding, and I'm speaking on behalf of Ms. Sparks Green, again, unfortunately, she's unable to be here this evening, but my understanding is that she has talked to a couple of potential fiduciaries, which I believe I understand that she's already had a conversation with you directly about that, or been in communication with you about that.
There was pending information. That's what I'm trying to
Right.
understand now.
Right. So that's what I know, is that she has been talking to those fiduciaries that were mentioned. From that, I don't know if there's an agreement in place or nothing. I don't know.
And do you know who those fiduciaries are that she's been speaking with?
Whomever you mentioned, she just said she's been talking to whoever you had mentioned.
Okay.
As a idea of a potential fiduciary.
Okay. So to be transparent,
sure,
is what I want to be, and make sure that I
haven't spoken to them, so I can't speak to I haven't had no conversations with them. I'm just standing in, and I got a text message from her today.
I had mentioned to Ms. Sparks Green that it might be conducive to the program to look at adding WIOA as a potential support sponsor or fiduciary for this offering. They could provide potential fiduciary fiduciary responsibilities as such, and there might be some additional supports that they can lend. So I sort of pointed her in that direction, and I'd also stated she may want to get in contact with Mott College and their workforce and economic
I know Mott
development
College was
group.
mentioned at some point. I do know that, yes.
I wanted to know if we were any further along with identifying who may be the fiduciary for the program at large, but we're not any further.
I know there's only been a conversation to a couple of different ones, but nothing is set in stone, because again, nobody's going to agree to do something that's not been approved by council, which is unfortunate. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? in
Madam
the first
Chair.
round. Go ahead, Mr. Pfeiffer.
Not only the fiduciary, but I want to know who the recipient organizations are. The fiduciary hasn't been established. The recipient organizations certainly haven't been established. Is that a correct statement, Mr. Van?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I said, if the fiduciary hasn't been identified, then the recipient organizations certainly haven't been identified. Is that a correct statement?
Yeah, that's not standard practice that I'm aware of, that we would identify the potential recipients before before the council would agree on the funding.
Okay, well,
I know we do in grant applications, we have subrecipients.
so why would this be any different?
Because a subrecipient is applying to a grant, where a team applying for a grant of the federal government, where a team applying for a grant, they're going to be a subrecipient on that project. Here, it's a bit different, and the money's a lot more involved. There's a process that takes maybe 6 months to be able to apply for that, and it's part of the requirements from the federal government that we have subrecipients on the grant.
Well, this is ARPA money, so this is ARPA.
Reincast, right.
This is ARPA money, so this should be even more of.
Right, but with the ARPA money, all due respect, ARPA money, the city council identified the buckets originally, and that's why people applied for it. There is no bucket here for anyone to apply for. The $324,000 hasn't been approved, so nobody's applying for anything.
And it's not on the ARPA budget as well.
But it doesn't exist. It doesn't. You haven't approved it, so it doesn't exist. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Until you approve it, it doesn't. It's nothing.
So I hear what you're saying.
Right.
I do. But once we approve this without recipients, then the mayor's cherry picks his organizations and his friends, and that's who the money goes to. And people who do quid pro quos, that's who the money goes to.
I'm not here to speak about the mayor.
I understand. I understand.
I'm here in my. Sorry, I'm in here in my capacity, and I was called up to speak.
Yeah.
It's unfair that you would get political with me like that. All I'm saying is the money doesn't exist, so it's because you haven't approved it. Once you approve it, then we can identify potential recipients.
I'm not going to. Thank you. I'm not going to approve it to then find out after the fact that my vote was used to pay off friends and family. I'm not going to do it.
Any other discussion in the first round? Any other discussion?
Madam
Go
Chair,
ahead.
Thank you. So seeing that we had a lot of young people take advantage of this last year, and being able to interact with them last year as they worked at various sites, is very disheartening, because school is about to be out and organizations don't want to be bothered with the fickle council. They're doing the good work already. A lot of us have worked with them hand in hand. A lot of us have seen the great things that they're doing. So while they're out here working with the youth, they don't have time to sit here and waste time trying to apply for something that people are going to shoot down because of false proclaimed agendas. Unless you can prove, everything is about what you can prove. If you can prove that the mayor is doing this for friends and family, bring this before this body. Bring it. But what? Right. So I believe that I just want my seconds back.
Go ahead. Make it 4 minutes. Sir.
Thank you. And so, unless you can bring this before this body, we will not have accusations like this. I'll give you a great example. Just like the monkey word. No. Just like someone flinching at me.
Point of Point of order.
What's your point?
No.
She's speaking to motives about
I'm not
somebody.
speaking to
I
motives.
have the floor. Why
How
are you
is this
talking?
germane? How is this germane,
I'll
Madam
tell
Chair?
you. I'll tell you right now. How's
Point
Jermaine?
of order.
What's your point?
One, she's not being germane. Number two, she's speaking to motives that did not happen. So you need to
ahead.
correct her.
Thank you. So my point is, everything that I just said can be pulled up on videotape, just like St. Mark pastor admitting that he feeds people outside of the city of Flint, how he
Point of
using the
order.
money. So everything
order.
that I'm saying,
What's your point?
She's not being germane. St. Mark has nothing to do with this. But her calling people bitches is a true fact.
Go ahead, Dr. Lewis. You are using these as examples.
thank you. And again, we have colleagues that threaten us with her attendance, continuing to lie. And so the point is, pull out the film. Where's the footage? We have the footage for everything that we're talking about. We get up out of our seats when we're caught up and we don't have anything else to say. The point is, we cannot make those false allegations on anyone, the mayor included, unless you have the proof. So if you don't have proof coming from our elected seats, and we're quick to talk about the Robert Rule that speaks about speaking the motives, don't do it, because you're speaking the motives and you don't know. He's not on this body, but he still is the mayor, and if you can't provide us, just like you wouldn't provide me with the point of information that I politely asked, don't speak things that are not true. Do not speak mistruth, knowing that they're not true. Just like she didn't tell you not to separate everything, just like you said we called you monkey in the middle. Let's go ahead and stick to things that we can prove. And what we can prove is that the summer youth program have benefited so many youth in this city that we had just as many, we turned away just as many as we accepted. I went to a listening session at Southwestern Academy, and every single youth said they wanted a youth job. We can sit up here and talk, and a lot of us don't even go into the schools. We talk about it, but we don't go into there. A lot of us were in there, and those that are in there, those young people said that they want youth jobs. They do. So if we are, and they're residents of the city, so if we are supposed to be, can we stop my time?
I'm hearing all kinds of yelling out, and I'm going to start issuing more warnings. So I'm asking you, please, to allow us to conduct our business. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, because this conduct would not be accepted at the Board of Commissioners. They would not do it. So we need to set a precedent that you will not and cannot do that here. But my point is, the youth spoke out and said with their voices, we want youth jobs. The people on the north end, and I trust people all over the city, want youth jobs. But I know on behalf of the Second Ward, they called me and they told me, I have monthly meetings, and I hear directly from the Second Ward. And they said they want their neighbors, they want their grandkids, children, nieces and nephews with youth jobs. For us to keep stalling this is preposterous, and it makes no sense. And we're doing the residents a disservice. So as we sit up here and laugh and giggle and think this cute and do this for click, likes, and shares, I'm doing this for the people that I vowed to do this for. Otherwise, I could do something else. But since I'm here,
Please pause the time. Point of order.
Go ahead. What's your point?
The young lady with the blonde hair and the security yelled out. I believe Miss Claire McClinton also yelled out.
Yeah, and I've been watching her, and next time she will get a warning. Go ahead, Ms.
I mean, this is just unfortunate. We got grown people acting like kids when we're trying to talk about youth jobs. Now, don't say you care about the youth when you clap and you support this kind of foolishness. Shame on every single one of you that vote against youth jobs. Shame on every single one of you that are carrying on acting. I mean, now we see why a lot of the kids act the way they do. What an example we have. So we are looking forward to the colleagues that's doing what they do. But youth will have jobs this summer.
Excuse me, this is your warning. This is your second warning. You are removed from this meeting. Go ahead. You are removed from this meeting.
You're telling me that I'm removed from this meeting? I'm forced to go?
Yes.
Is this under threat of arrest?
Point of order.
What's your point?
According of the disorderly person city code subsection, it states that any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of the Flint City Code section 3110, disorderly conduct, assault and battery, and disorderly persons, and will be subject for arrest for a misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given one warning. If they persist in disrupting the meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from the meetings. That is my point.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion I believe we're still in the first round. Is there any other discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
So that has been completely derailed. Her energy is horrible. She's offensive. But I do want to say, Seamus, last year, how are you? I know you seem a little irritated today, and it is very hostile in here. It is very.
It's hard as staff to sit here, to be here all day, work, and then come here, and then things get prolonged. We don't know if we're going to come to work with quorum. We don't know what's going to happen. I have a babysitter I'm paying at home. We all have things going on outside of this. All we're trying to do as staff, excuse me for being transparent, is just do our job. That's all we're trying to do.
And I'm fine with you being transparent. And that's where I have always been very straightforward with you in respect. And as a mom who has had my children are grown, I completely understand. You know, and I've seen your little one here, who was very well behaved. So I do want to say this. So last year we did have the names of the organizations. This year we don't. And that is a problem for me. I would like to see who we're giving money to. And I will not approve anything unless I see who it's going to. One, because we had a lying bishop who said, I brought people here from, let me read the post. A whole post that I don't even know how to do the boots on the ground. It just happens to be her lying bishop. And so when she stayed, and this is why, because I don't believe him teaching people faith when he can't even tell the truth. So if he's getting it, I'm not supporting it. Get the names on it, then I will. Because he put, actually, I must speak up. This is embarrassing and out of order on every level. For a city council member to orchestrate a line dance or a city council meeting is ridiculous. To bus people in from Chicago to disrespect our city government is a huge dereliction of duty. So much important city business going on undone because members of the council, less than 50% attendance. This madness must stop. My attendance is not less than 50%, but I'm not going to give money to a bishop who tells lies and puts it on social media and then blocks you when you want to comment. I won't do that. So if you guys can get the organizations, put them there like you did. We're not asking you to do something that you didn't do prior last year, and you put them on our agendas, the same names, which when it first came back up, it was the same organizations that were on there. We didn't receive anything different. Then when questioned, now we don't have any. So if you can get the organizations, because if I am a nonprofit, I'm going to let you know that I'm interested. We don't even have names. I will not blindly vote yes on something that we don't even have a name on. And we don't. And that's just not fair. And I think it's also unfair to say people will not do it because they did it last year. All of the organizations last year put their names on there. Now, if the mayor chooses to do his $75,000 and under, which seems to be his go-to, then that's his choice. He can do it 3 times, which will pay for it. But without names, and we did it last year because we can't say, I think it's wrong to say as council, sign this blank check and we'll figure it out later. That same thing happened with them golf courses that we paying them $72,000. We don't even know how much they're taking in liquor sales. We don't know about the marijuana parties that they have there. The city's not getting any of that revenue. So I'm just saying if you can get the names, because not having the names, I don't see, or certain council people not having them. It's not going to be approved. Give me some names, then we can look at it. We did it last year. There shouldn't be a problem doing it again this year, putting the names. If they're, you got them. Last year we had enough that knew and they got their money. They got it. So it should be this year, but slipping it through, and I'm not saying that it's you, Seamus, that's doing it, but it seems to be very disingenuous to not put the names on there and saying, you better sign it, or we're gonna call a press conference and call you obstructionists, call you terrorists, and say council doesn't get anything done, because that's what the mayor does. He's done it repeatedly to the council members that he doesn't like in the news. He repeatedly goes after this city council. If you had this up here, we could say, okay, well, we can approve this, and maybe we're not sure about this organization. We don't have any organization to even deny right now, not one. And I know it's not you in that way, I understand.
Request for information.
What's your request?
Didn't she just deny Pastor Martin's church? Not church,
Look,
but his
you and your lying
nonprofit?
bishop, you need to
Because
be
he
quiet.
just
This is
said,
my time.
she just said that we don't have any
Listen.
organization to deny.
Listen,
And she just
there is
said
no name
during her
on
debate.
here. He has, then I want my little time back here because the clock was a-ticking.
Yeah, go ahead and put it back to 10 seconds. Go ahead, Ms. Burns.
Listen, we don't have any. No one, you have not given us one name. If you give us some names, I don't think we should be using tax dollars to let Bishop Martin teach people about faith when he can't tell the truth.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the first round? Go
Madam
ahead.
Chair. So, I think that has actually been stated by Ms. Sparks several times, that it is increasingly difficult to get people to want to be a part of the program simply because there's no guarantee that there will be a program. And so there has been outreach to multiple organizations, but again, their response has been the fact that, are we sure we're going to have a program? I do agree with you about the fact that it is deeply unfair for anyone to make this political, or any of the sort, when you are simply up here trying to explain a program. If you would like to give us some more information, I know you've already talked several different times on this, so go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just, again, there seems to be a lot of stuff going on, been said here, but ultimately, the things that's not been mentioned much is the youth, and this is all about just getting youth work.
Right.
Again, whatever the politics aside, this is all about getting youth jobs for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
I was program director for the CVIPI program, and in that capacity, I had great opportunity to see the need in reducing violence in the city. And one way of trying to reduce violence is to have jobs for youth, jobs for young people.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a great opportunity for that. And we hear a lot about the entities that they're worried about funding, but I don't hear a lot being said about the youth, and that's what this is about, giving youth jobs. And like I said, I have 3 kids. I would love when they're older to have opportunities like this,
Mm-hmm.
living in Flint, to have a summer job, keep them busy in the summer, so I won't be worried about them. So,
And I think that you have brought it back to what is important. We have kids who are asking for summer employment, who are asking for something to do this summer, who are asking to positively contribute to society, while also making lifetime experiences and learning new skills. We have people who come up here all the time and say, hey, the youth are in trouble. We need you all to do something for them. We need help. We need help. And we did this program last year. It was very successful, to the point where the administration had to come back and say, hey, there are more youth that would like to be employed. And we had to do a round 2 last year. And so now that we're doing this year, I think this was introduced early on enough for us to be past this point. I think one of the things, unfortunately, that happens, and you have the kids now being caught up in it, is the fact that people wait until they get to meetings to do the work and do their job when our jobs are all day, every day, even though we're supposed to be considered part-time. We have this information, we have access to ask questions. I think another thing that also should be pointed out is that if there are some organizations that council trusts, that maybe council should send those suggestions to the mayor, because what happens there is it could easily be flipped and said, well, you're sending them because they're doing quid pro quo with you, right? And we don't have any proof of any of that. That could easily happen on the flip side. And so I just want us to be mindful and focus on the fact that there are youth who need these jobs. We know that in Flint, summertime comes and anything can happen. And so the best thing we can do to protect them is to guarantee them somewhere to be during the day, guarantee them some responsibility, and guarantee them something to look forward to. And I urge my colleagues that if there are some organizations that they send those to Ms. Shelley Sparks and say, hey, take a look at some of these organizations that do work that can give the youth an opportunity. I know you wanted to say something?
Yeah, that was my question is, and I hear that there's this concern around no names, but my question is, in the event that we do somehow find entities that are interested, is the expectation then that we put that on that resolution that they have to come to council before council? Will there be guarantees that there'll be a quorum that night, that when they come, they'll actually, things will happen?
No, I hear you. The goal is always moving. We don't know. The goal is always moving. The post is always something different. But we care and we want it done, but we're going to move the post again. We don't know. What we do know is that the youth need jobs. There's something that has to be done this summer. This is the city's opportunity to help families and help residents. If there are some organizations that council members think would be good for the youth to be aligned with, that we give those suggestions in order for the youth to be aligned with said organizations, so that we're not holding up this process. Students get out of school in a couple of weeks here and we have nothing for them. So I just want us to be clear that this is the holdup right now.
Thank you. Any other discussion on the only one who hasn't spoken, I believe, is myself. So I think my points have all been made. The fact is that people aren't going to be willing to submit applications to be a part of this program if the funding isn't going to be there. And this council has shown over and over and over again that they want those people, and yet on a practical matter, those people are not going to apply for a position. Now, we can sit there and we can amend this resolution to say that council has final approval over the organizations, but I don't know that we want to do that. So that's my time. I'm going to take a minute and Attorney Wallace, can you please give me your opinion on the camera stand issue, please?
Yes, I can. Okay, after looking at the definition under Merriam-Webster, standing alone or on its own foundation, free of support or attachment. So it's either or, standing alone or on its own foundation, free of support. The resolution 240181 says that all use of freestanding camera stands, including but not limited to tripods, camera stands, and physical devices used to support or elevate cameras. Cell phones or other video recording devices is restricted to an area designated by the city clerk in the northeast corner of the city council chambers. So the resolution doesn't just speak to tripods. It speaks to any other type of device that is used to support or elevate a camera. Therefore, it's my legal opinion that whether it's a tripod standing on its own or a single device that's used to elevate or to support a camera, it should be restricted to the northeast corner.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to go back to the back corner, please.
Request for information.
What's your request?
So my request is, so when we're looking at the definition, standing alone, it is not standing alone. His is one leg and needs assistance, or it's foundation free of support. It's not free of support because it takes his hand to balance it. So,
It also says elevate, so he must be removed. He is elevating the camera.
Just weaponization of fucking.
I'm doing it. You don't know, do you? You don't want to get that question. You bald-headed guy. Go ahead. Let me whisper it. What's up? Who you got this? One of the coattails. Look at him.
RL.
And request for, point of order. In addition to people that have been removed from the meeting, they are not at liberty to block the doorway, hence the public safety plan.
Correct. Can you make sure that the doorway is clear from people who have been removed from the meeting? Thank you. This is the second round of discussion. What is your point?
where is it stating, if they're out the meeting, they're now in the public, there is no rule stating that they can't stand by the doorway. She just walked by.
Point of order.
Obstructing
What is your
anything.
Point of order.
What is your point?
So if they are removed from the meeting and this is the only thing happening in the building right now, if they're removed from here, they should actually leave the building.
Point of order.
What's your point?
We have zero jurisdiction outside of this chambers.
Exactly.
Zero.
This is the second round of discussion. Anyone?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Seamus, are you aware that according to last year's report, that students I'm not going to say students, I'm going to say youth outside of Flint received these jobs? Are you also aware that one of the recipients?
RL.
Are you also aware that one of the recipients organizations gave a job to one of their own children?
I mean, I'm obviously taking your word for your council.
Request for
person.
information.
What's your request?
Who were they? And who did they work for?
Are you aware of that?
Is it a fact?
It's on the paper. I'm assuming it came from the organization or from the administration. We didn't put these packets together.
Request for information.
What's your request?
Can we all receive the same paper so we all can be on the
We
same?
all have the same paper.
Okay.
It's in
All
the
right, so
packet.
is there?
So, obviously you're not aware. I'm going to take that you're not aware of those things that.
I'm standing in for a person tonight, as I stated at the very start, sir.
Okay, well, no offense, but if you can't speak to this stuff, then just say that the person's not here and you can't speak to
I said
it.
that at the very start.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other discussion?
This is the second round?
Yes.
How many people have spoken in the second round?
Just Mr. Pfeiffer. I do not see, Mr. Pfeiffer, excuse me, point of information.
Okay.
Mr. Pfeiffer, can you please tell me where on this resolution that says that non-resident students received money from this program?
You can look up the addresses that are on that were given for the people that were given jobs.
I don't see a list of. Go ahead, Ms. Mashat. Oh, Dr. Lewis.
Thank you. So, as we look, and our colleague won't tell us where, exactly. We are looking to see
Let's see this.
where, so, okay. Good luck.
So, point of information.
What's your point?
I'm looking at the page, and all of these say Flint, Michigan.
Yeah,
So
I
if
have,
we could kind of see where else, because all of these say Flint, Michigan.
right. And we're talking
Excuse
about.
me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, so,
No
Madam
yelling out.
Chair, could you please give him a warning for yelling out?
I just, go ahead.
Madam Chair, he was the one that left talking about F you, so I just want to be on alert. We can't have people yelling out as we conduct business.
Thank you.
So anyway, it's my time, so we can just go ahead and let my time continue to roll. Thank you. According to this Flint Clean and Safe Summer Youth Jobs, I'm looking, Mr. Seamus, and I don't see it. I don't see one street that is not Flint. All of these streets look familiar to be City of Flint
Request for
Street.
information.
What's your request?
To Ms. Lewis, some of these, Mill Creek is, they may say Flint, but that does not mean that they're in Flint. For example, my mother's address says Flint, but it's Mount Morris Township.
Okay, thank
So
you.
Mill Creek is not.
Thank you.
Mill Creek is not, as I'm looking at this list.
Thank you so much, Ms. Burns. And that is the new McCree Theater, that is in the Second Ward, and that's also the theater of Jerry Winfrey Carter's father. So we can go ahead and make sure that we don't give them funding because they are, so they are making sure that they are accepting youth not from Flint. So thank you for that. And so back to my point, I don't want to gatekeep. I want to uphold the rules. And so if the rules say that you must only employ kids that live in Flint, which this is what the money is for, we want to make sure that that's the case. So since you have identified the New McCree Theater as an employer that is employing youth outside the city of Flint, we will make sure that.
She's speaking to my motives, telling a lie. I did not say that it was the New McCree. That is what you said.
Okay.
I told you where Mill Street was.
Wait, excuse me.
I did
can
not
I
state
address this?
McCree at all.
Can I address this? Mill
Please do.
Creek is actually in Flint Township. Whether they received payment or not, I don't know. But that resident is in Flint Township, and it is the address of one of the students.
Thank you.
No, request for information.
What?
Madam Chair, did you know that what she said was, one of our colleagues said it was Mill Creek. The other colleague pointed out that that was under McCree Theater's employment. I think we're missing the point. One pointed out that it was that it says Mill Creek, and the other pointed out who the service provider was.
And I know that there was at least one person who was employed at McCree who did not receive funding.
All right, but this is what we have here, since we have colleagues that want to gatekeep. Colleagues that have said from their elected seat tonight that if an organization is here that they're not going to pass it. It's not our job to gatekeep, and it's not our job to approve the organizations. Our job is to pass money and ordinances. That's what our job is to do. And our job is also to meet with the mayor as he extended the olive branch to the office so he can hear our priorities. He's been saying that all year, and he sent out another email. And so we have colleagues that's refusing to do so. So going back to my point, so seeing that the New McCree Theater.
What's your
Point of order. She does not need to speak a violation, Robert's Rules 43.21. She don't know if we denied to meet with him or not, so stop her from lying.
Go ahead, Ms.
Okay, so this conversation wouldn't even need to be had if you meet with the mayor. But the point is, our colleague pointed out that Mill Creek is not in Flint, you're right.
I don't think
And Mill Creek, McCree is employing students that lived on Mill Creek. So what we just came to the conclusion of, the New McCree Theater is employing
Request
people
for
outside of
information.
Flint.
What's your request?
I think we might want to look at Knickerbocker Avenue too. I think that's Beecher. That's not McCree, so that's the good church.
All righty. Well.
Go ahead, Ms.
All right, thank you. So if we look that up on the property portal, because I don't like to assume, so Madam Chair, can we pause the time? So we can just, so we can look that up, because I want to be clear And I want to be factual. Everyone that's clapping in the background, we know that the city board lady have a odd relationship with the truth. So we're going to make sure that we.
Point of information, is that like your bishop and you?
Excuse me.
Request for information.
I was just going to answer the one about Nick
Go
Carter.
ahead, go ahead.
That is not in the city. Same with, I think I looked up Brookgate.
So my association is with the truth is really good then.
Did you have another, Mr. Jarrett? Mr. Jarrett? Okay.
Right. Okay. So we can go ahead and make note of that as well. Again, this is not about gatekeeping. I'm not up here saying who I will not give money to without a valid reason. And so we need to move on and do what's in the best interest of the youth. Let's pass these jobs. But it's been stated on the mic that we are gatekeeping in the 6th Ward. And point of order, can we please have our officers go in the back, because they should not be yelling out and blurting out. They should not. They're being disorderly in the back corner.
They absolutely are.
It's an officer there?
Oh, yeah, he's hiding behind the post.
All right, well, we need to stop hiding and let's go ahead and enforce the
Madam
rules.
Chair, I would like the floor.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So I'm sorry to our police that you are being weaponized against the residents. Yet again, I'm sorry.
Request for information.
What's your request?
Was she sorry when she was interfering when the police was trying to do their job last week? So let's choose when we be sorry.
I think, listen,
that is
Liddell, I'm
not
not
a
going to
proper
do
point.
you today.
Go ahead.
That was incorrect.
Go ahead.
So, thank you.
I already
So,
dealt
who
with that.
vetted these? Whoever vetted these, I don't think that they were vetted properly, because it states a Flint address. With all that intelligence, she should know better. But I do want to say this, when we talk about, I'm definitely not gatekeeping, but we last year did not have we had the names, and that's what I'm saying to you. Now, I know that the councilwoman in the 2nd Ward was a huge, you were stressed enough. And so I don't really need you.
Okay.
I'm good with you. I do know that when we talk about, and like I said, some of these addresses may say Flint, but they're not. But I know I'm not gatekeeping, and all this gaslighting, she needs to stop. This is whoever's responsibility to check these addresses. And the mess that she's done, her energy is just nasty tonight, and it's very unacceptable. And she was a stickler on making sure people to get fed in her ward at St. Mark, so I surely know she wouldn't approve this, because they had the audacity to feed people who were hungry that were coming through that line. So I think that, and I'm looking at some of these other addresses, and yeah, there's some ones, and they do need to be put in the property portal. So if she's trying to flip this script on us, these are her people, some of these, and then to come off and to say, and I want to say this, the McCree Theater does absolutely great work, and
request for information.
I'm not answering you, so you need
request for information.
What's your request?
Thank you. So what do you mean by those are her people?
So that's an improper request for information.
No, that's a valid
request. So McCree Theater does absolutely great work in this community, and I will not let her nasty opinion and comments speak to the good deeds that happen. And she also likes to use that facility and has been there. So McCree does good work in this community, and they will continue. Now, whether that is Councilwoman Winfrey Carter, the senior most councilwoman's father, has nothing to do with that. You are always just keeping up mess. Get your list together and we won't have to question it. And that's the part that you need to stop with. So if these are, and some of these are not Flint, and you up here doing all of this, stop that, Liddell. It's you are weaponizing the police. You're throwing people out. You're yelling and screaming. You lack decorum. You accusatory. You need to stop. Because if we need to,
please stay germane to the resolution.
You should have checked hers, but you should have did. So if we needed to go through, and it has been something that is important with these children, this is not our list. We didn't vet them. Now she can go through her pastors too. I don't know if this one is either. We're looking at them. Yeah, well, yeah.
Request for information.
So what do you got to
What's
say
your
about
request?
your church not living in Flint?
Excuse me, we have a request. What's your request?
It's crazy.
Ms. Burns, are you aware that there's 3 in Cathedral Faith that are outside the city?
The audacity of that. Can she speak to that? So, this is just crazy.
Madam Chair.
Let's get
Go
the
ahead.
organization.
Madam Chair, I would
ahead,
like the
Ms.
floor.
Mashat.
So we've just spent, I don't know how much time, rather than focus on youth jobs, doing everything but. So when the conversation needed to be about youth jobs and why they should have jobs and maybe giving some organizations, there was no energy, there was no answers, there was nothing. But now that we need to pick it apart because we don't want it to succeed, because we're mad that it succeeded last year because it was the mayor's initiative, now we need to pick
What is your
apart.
point?
Point of order. She's speaking to our motives.
Whose name did I say? Whose name did I
You clearly
say?
just said that you don't.
Whose name did I
Uh,
say?
Excuse me,
Point
no
of order.
arguing. What is your
The
point?
colleague in the 7th Ward just clearly stated that we do not want it to succeed, and we never
Whose
said
name
that.
did I say?
Exactly. It would
Go
be your
ahead,
colleague.
Ms. Mashat.
Thank you, because I didn't say not one name. Hit dogs will holler. Now, as I was saying, we're doing everything but focused on, because this could have been done before this meeting, but because we need to tear it apart publicly to make ourselves look good and look like we're not attacking youth jobs, now we got to do this right here at this
Point
meeting,
of order.
when the
What is your
reality
point?
is.
Excuse me. Now she is speaking to our Moses
Whose
Roberts.
whose
group,
name did I say?
Because when you said we're picking it apart, there are only the council members up here, so you're picking it apart. You're
Whose
smart
name
enough
did
to
I
go
say?
ahead.
Go
You
ahead,
said
Ms.
you
Madam,
are
Thank
picking
you.
it apart.
Point of order, before we go ahead. point of
Seamus,
order.
while we're in the middle of this point of order, can you walk up here?
Roberts.
43.21.
Point of order. She called that rule like 15 times and it's
Yeah.
been wrong tonight.
Nope.
And according to our rules, if you continue to abuse privileged motion,
That's
you
not
will
true.
be brought to order.
Go ahead.
And so, Ms. Priestley, you gonna let her do this?
We're good.
Okay. Oh,
right
we
now.
good? Okay.
We're good right now.
All right. No,
Go
let's just
ahead.
see how good we be if you're gonna continue to allow her to violate the council rules.
Okay, Miss. Go
Sound
ahead,
crazy.
Ms. Mashat.
Thank you.
right.
Thank you for
Focus, Tanya.
joining us
Tanya,
again.
focus.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Big back.
Could you pause? They're wasting my time. Pause.
No, I'm just. Go ahead. Go ahead, Kenneth.
Can we get it back at 2:06?
Yep, 206.
Go ahead.
Through you to the councilman in the 8th Ward, going back to what you're saying about the names and Councilwoman Burns of the organizations, if we can get an idea of what that looks like, what that means, and my question was, I'm not sure if you're sitting there, the last round was, does that mean that we have these names?
Point of order. Point of order. I can't hear.
You're on my time.
Point of order. Your clock
Literally
stopped
on my
for you.
time.
Point of order. Point of order.
What's your point?
My point is, she's talking too loud, telling you you need to stand on business. She's talking too loud. I can hear her, and I could not
That's your
hear.
warning.
I could not hear Seamus. I couldn't hear him.
Do you,
because she was talking to you.
point of order, are you gonna point at her or give her a
All
warning?
right, we are now abusing point of orders to
I could not
out of
hear.
control. This is this is the last time. Go ahead,
scared of
Ms.
her.
Mashat.
We're on my time.
We
I was
sure
listening
are.
to him.
You sure are. Go ahead.
There is somebody in the back yelling out, and so you might want to deal with that.
Is the officer on his phone? Yeah, let me.
I don't know. All right, thank you.
Like I was saying, I understand what the councilman in the 9th Ward was asking about earlier, and we had a discussion about that, the potential fiduciary. I understand there's others that are in support of this. I really want to see this pass. I know the administration wants to see this pass. So again, I'm speaking to the councilman in the 8th Ward through you and the councilwoman in the 6th Ward, Councilwoman Burns. If you can give us an idea of what that looks like. Is the expectation that we make a list, It could be 20, 30, who knows how many people, how many entities it could be that are interested. Did they all have to come in before you guys? Will you guys be here? Will they have quorum? Will they be coming in wasting their time? All of that sort of stuff. I'm just bringing that before you. I really want an understanding of how we can move this forward, because this is chaos right now, and it's not about what it's about. This is about the youth getting jobs. The youth need jobs. The youth need to be off the streets in the summer. We see it. We're been asked constantly as an administration, what are we doing for the youth? What are we doing for the young people? This is an opportunity to show that we're actually doing something. We can be joined in unity in doing this and making this happen. And again, we are staff are here to do our jobs. We want to do our jobs. We don't want to be sitting here and listening to this crap.
No. And I wholeheartedly agree, which is why I said that we're off on all these different tangents, when the whole point of this resolution at this point in time is to talk about youth jobs. If there were organizations that they wanted to see brought forth, then those organizations could have been brought forth to the administration. If you don't want to talk to the mayor, you can talk to Ms. Sparks Green. You can send an email. Clearly, Seamus is willing to talk to all council members, so an email can be sent to him. But the bottom line is, right now, everything is being done to derail something that could help the youth for the summer. Thank you.
I'm not going to take any time. This is the vote to send resolution 250140 to council. I do need 5 members in their seat to vote, and I only have 4. I do need council members in their seat to vote for this resolution. Council members, please return to your seats so that we can vote on this resolution. Council members, please return to your seats so that we can vote on this resolution and go forward. RL, please take your seat. This is the vote to send resolution 250140 to council.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is absent. Ms. Burns?
I abstain because we need further information that we do not have at this point.
Point of order.
What is your point?
We can only abstain if it's a personal conflict.
It's a personal conflict for me
It's
because
a
we don't have the information.
personal
We've been through
financial conflict. Go
that. It
ahead.
doesn't say
Ms. Mashat?
financial.
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer? Mr. Jarrett?
No.
Mr. Alamin is absent. Dr. Lewis is not in. The vote is 2 yes, 2 no, 1 abstention.
The vote is 2 yes, 2 no, 1 abstention. That fails. The next resolution is 250155, the 2025-2026 master fee schedule. I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I make a motion that we move this to council.
There's a motion on the floor to send resolution 250155 to council by the councilwoman in the 7th Ward. Is there support? I'll support that. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
there were questions last week about the master fee schedule.
Yep. Mr. Moore?
I didn't say I wanted Mr. Moore. You won't have to answer, Mr. Moore. You didn't have it last week. I'm sorry. Hey, Paul. I actually need someone who can speak to, I did not get the budget, or well, I wanted to know about the McKinley Center and the fees. And who is the director? Is the director here for the McKinley Center? I had some questions about the fees and how they would be leasing the building.
Yes, she's here.
Is she here?
Ms. Wiggins?
Hi, Mrs. Wiggins. How are you?
Doing great, doing
Good. So I had some questions in regards to, you're the director,
Yes,
and you have a deputy director?
yes,
How many employees do you have?
just the one.
Just the one? We also requested for your personal service contract. We didn't get it. I've asked for that several times, but so for us to have a center on here that's running. So on the master fee schedule, my question was for, were you a part of the process where they, it was the 450, 100, 450, 350, 100? How did that come about for the master fee? Because it gave the different age groups. Was there a reason why that you broke?
We have a membership fee, which is $350.
You have a membership fee for?
$350. I mean, that's rental.
Rental
for,
fee?
Yes, for if you're a member of Mays Center, you only have to pay $350 for a rental. If you're a non-member, you pay $450 for a rental. If you are 80 years plus, you pay $100 for a
So
rental.
this is it's not just a senior center. Are both of them community centers? Or are they, because they're not just senior centers, are they? Because I believe at McKinley Center, we're looking at for the fee, and I'm thinking that fee may be different because won't you be doing a project with McKinley Center with another group?
I'm not sure. I have to do my research, and I'm not sure. Our mayor would have to answer that question. I'm not sure.
Okay, I believe there's another, the coalition, I have to look at it with Mark Evans, and I believe they're supposed to be at McKinley Center. So I don't know how those fees, if they're utilizing that, how that's going to be. And I believe they got they received funds from Genesee County, I think for 5 years, or they got a grant for that one. Okay. So I guess I'll have to, well, Mr. Moore, you couldn't answer that either, so.
It's not in place yet.
The question regards to who else uses that facility and how we came up with the fees, because I believe McKinley is going to be a dual center being used for more than one nonprofit or one group.
The McKinley Center is really not operational yet. When that opens up, we'll have to return to adjust the fees for that at that point.
Yeah, but there is someone that is, Mark Evans has a program that's coming in there, and I guess Mrs. Wiggins isn't aware of it. Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Any other discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Ms. Wiggins, can you explain to me what member and non-member is? I missed that.
A member is an individual who lives in the city of Flint 55 years or more. That's considered a member of the Mays Senior Center.
What about McKinley?
But isn't the member, non-member part of McKinley as well?
McKinley is not open yet, so we haven't.
But it's on, if it's not open, but it's on this.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
on this master form, so.
Okay,
I'm
I
ju-
can only answer at this time, to Mays Center.
Okay, so should we strike the information on McKinley Center?
I can only answer right to Mays Center at this time.
So, but Mays it says Mays Senior and Service Community Center, so only seniors can be members?
For the senior center, only 55.
Which one is senior? Which one is the senior center?
Mays is called Mays Senior Center.
Because this
And
says
the-
Mays Senior and Service Center.
And Community Service Center, correct. We have programs there for the community, different services available for the community, but from the hours of 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. is a senior center. And we accommodate individuals who are 55 and up at that center.
So if someone wanted to rent it after those hours, say a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout troop or something else, they would not get a member rate because they're not over 55? Is that a correct statement?
Well, we're talking two different entities. We're talking from 8 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday, until 5 o'clock. That's a senior center. And we're not talking about rentals.
I'm talking about rentals.
Okay, you're talking about rentals.
I'm talking about rent, because,
Okay.
because this is, I'm talking about the member and non-member rentals, and I'm asking, and that's why I asked who was a member, and you said anybody, City of Flint, above 55 is a member. Is that a correct statement?
Yes, can be
So-
a member for
so-
the senior center, yes.
You keep saying senior center, but it says service community center. So
Okay.
is it is it called something different after hours? Are we changing
So,
the sign?
yes, so if you want to rent the center after 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the evening, and you're affiliated with someone who is a member, you are also privy to that discount.
Is there anything in writing showing all of these rules and regulations that we have?
Yeah.
Because there's,
Yes.
I think just what's in the master fee schedule.
just in the master fee schedule.
Right.
So where in the master fee schedule does it say the description of members and non-members?
I don't think it's there.
It doesn't. And it's, where does it say that after hours it's a different rate, or, 4-hour rental block for event for 80 years old or more? That's the only thing it identifies. I would like the rules and the regulations and all of that stuff that regarding these charges in writing, and descriptions and all of that, because I'm no offense, but I'm a little confused. And is this only a senior center, or is this a community center?
This is the name of the center is the Mays Senior Center and Community Service Center. That's the name of the center.
So it's not exclusively a senior center, is it?
Well, you know what? I'll do my research and I'll get back with you on that.
Okay. Mr. Moore, were we able to run any of those reports that I requested?
We've been working on it. I think it's doable.
Okay.
And I just haven't had time to do that, but I'll be, you're talking about for the...
Individual charges?
Right.
Yeah.
There is, the system does have a lot of information. It just takes some time to generate it.
Any other discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you. He can finish on my time.
Go ahead, Mr. Moore, you can continue.
It's not an easy thing to do, but we can do it. We'll just take some time.
Go ahead, Ms. Dr. Lewis, did you have any comments, questions, or is that your time?
Yeah, so yeah, that's
Okay, any other discussion in the first round? Any other discussion in the first round? Any discussion in the second? Oh, okay, go ahead.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Mashat.
Madam Chair, through you to the director of the center.
Ms. Wiggins.
Yes.
Mrs. Wiggins.
Yes.
Thank you for coming back up. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for trying to provide answers. Because I do want to clarify that you said it is called the Mays Senior and Community Service Center. I also want to clarify that I did hear you say the fact that from 8 to 5, is it 8 a.m.?
Correct.
Okay, from 8 to 5, that it is a senior center, and the fact that it's exclusively for seniors to use the services there, but that in the evening, other members of the community have the ability to utilize that location as well.
Correct.
Correct. And I know that you all also offer different like classes or initiatives that happen in that building as well.
Correct.
Right. So I believe that that is where the community service center part comes in, because the community is welcomed to use the building, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then I also believe I heard you say that members of the senior center, so 55 and older, that they have a discounted rate. And then if you're over 80, it's even more of a deep discounted rate to use it for special events after hours.
Correct.
Okay. And then I believe I also heard you say that non-members, meaning people that are under the age of 55, so 54 and below, can also use the center for special events after hours as well.
Correct.
Okay, because I'm understanding, I hear what you're saying, and I see where the community service center part is coming in.
Correct.
So thank you, because your explanation was a good, detailed explanation, and I just want you to know that it was, and it was clear. Thank you for giving a clear, detailed explanation. I appreciate that. And you also made it clear that the McKinley Center is not open quite yet. And so you're not over there, so you would not have details on a center that you are not yet running, correct?
Correct.
Thank you, because you made that very clear as well. That was perfectly clear. So thank you for being clear when you said that. Thank you for also stating that because the McKinley Center is not open, that there are some things still being worked out for what it will look like once it is open. And so because you don't have the responsibility of the center yet, you can't speak to the services there because they're still being worked out. Did I hear that correctly?
That's correct.
Thank you. You were very clear when you said that as well. Also, as it relates to the McKinley Center, you said that once it is open and everything has been negotiated, that you will have some direction over that center. So you would be able to come back and then speak to that and the fee, and if there are any fees associated with that one as well, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. You've been very clear tonight on who you are and your responsibilities as it relates to the Mays Senior and Community Service Center, and as it relates to the not yet open, not yet under your direction, McKinley Center. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? I'm going to take, I think everybody spoke except for Mr. Jarrett. Did you want to speak? Okay, so I'm going to take some time, just a few minutes on the McKinley Center, because it doesn't make sense to go back if the pricing seems to be identical to the Mays Center for McKinley, and if we're going to have that event open this year, already having those fees set makes a lot of sense. And if they don't open, then there will be no fee assessed because it's not available. And I wanted to make that clear. All right, anybody in the second round?
Chair.
Go ahead.
I want to be very clear that it was not clear. So in your job description, Mrs. Wiggins, you are hired to run the McKinley Center and the Mays Center. Is that correct?
At this time, I was hired to operate Mays Senior Center and Community Center, Service Center.
Okay, until I see what, and it's no offense to you, what your job description is, I will not be approving this. We don't even know how much you make. That did not come before us, just like the two new,
Request for information.
What's your request?
Is her salary a part of the resolution?
it will state her job description and what she does, in case you didn't know that.
Excuse me, this is through me, but I'm going to answer that, is that this is just on the master fee schedule, has nothing to do with her salary.
Thank you.
So for me, it does, and I get to ask what I want because I'm elected just like them. So when it goes to the master fee, because it's actually on here, and so if you're not running that, then and it's not open, then it needs to come off. It needs to come off until the time that it is up and running. We should not be putting something on there that it doesn't apply to. And I still would like to see her personal service contract. And it'll tell what her job description is, which deals with these centers which are on this master fee schedule. I've been asking. I've asked for the deputy. It's not hard. You know, we ask for stuff, we don't get it. And so with this, we're saying also that these are two different things. If we're not using the McKinley, then it needs to be amended to take it off. But if it's in your job description to run that, then we need to make some adjustments. And I know that in job descriptions, they're very specific as to what you're running, and that was my reasoning for asking. Because if it's not open yet, and I know that Mark Evans will be opening up, I don't know when. But my question is too, is there any senior millage funding that we get for the Mays Center? Did we get any from the county?
Not at this point.
Okay, have we applied? Have we been denied?
We've applied. We are going through the process. We still need to have a public health inspection, and we're going to be working through trying to get the funding.
Okay, so in the Mays Center, they failed the building inspections. Were you aware of that? Why are we renting this out? Our own Flint Fire Department failed the Mays Center. Why are we renting it out? And these are things from the senior millage.
We did pass the inspections.
When did they pass? Because when you submit it over to the county, they have a whole list of things that failed.
That was prior to our occupancy of the Mays Center. That was.
Could I get a copy of your occupancy, please? If we can all get that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the second round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Mr. Moore, when do you think you could get those reports for me? The reports, when do you think you can run those? If I give you maybe 10, 12 line items, how long before you could run reports on those 10 line items?
I can probably get them next week sometime.
Next week sometime? Okay. I have issue with the rental inspection fees. I haven't, and this is not a question, Mr. Moore. I have several, and I know that we're in litigation on a few of these, so I don't want to speak to them necessarily. But Mr. Moore, I will get you, I was hoping to get a extensive list, but if I can get you 10 or 12 line items, and
yep.
Hopefully we can get those reports run.
I think so, yes. Sir.
Okay, and then I'm in agreement with my colleague in the 6th Ward. Until we're shown how these centers are going to be funded, I think that having both of these community centers open or on this master fee schedule, whether they're open or not, to me is putting the cart before the horse, because where's the funding coming from? If we're still waiting on county dollars, how are we funding, and how are we funding Ms. Wiggins' salary right now? Out of what account?
The wages are coming out of ARPA funding.
I'm sorry, what?
ARPA. And
her wages are coming out of ARPA?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And the utilities and supplies are coming out of the park budget.
Coming out of
the park recreation fund.
So what expenses are those? Like the lighting bill and that type of stuff?
Right, yes, sir.
Okay.
There was also another ARPA resolution that included capital for the Hasselbrink Center, and some of the bigger expenditures have come out of that.
What bigger expenditures are?
That'd be like, I think, a pool table or a TV or something like of that sort.
We've purchased those for the Mays Center?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Any other discussion in the second round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I do want to be clear and reiterate the fact that you've clearly stated your position, made perfect sense, and what Councilwoman in the 4th Ward said makes sense as well, of the fact that the McKinley Center needs to be in here because we're in this. The assumption is that the same thing that's being done at one center will be done at the other. So that's why the fees are the same, and that's why the fees are matching. And like Ms. Priestley said, that if the center is not open, there's no fee to assess. There's nothing to rent out. There's nothing to do with. I think that it is poor legislation, and I think that it is reactive to try and put something in afterwards. I think that that is just simply not an intelligent way to legislate. I think what makes sense is to have that in there, and so that when the time comes and that center opens, because the fees are going to be the same, because we're treating the centers as the same, then the fees are already in place. There's nothing that has to wait to try to come back and be dealt with. The fact that it's already there, they're already being treated equally, and then should you need to rent that out or do whatever, those fees are already in place. That's just good governance. That's common sense governance. I do want to also, again, thank you for being here, because the problem is sometimes there are aggressive tones used towards you when it's not about you, when it has nothing to do with you. So I thank you for your grace under pressure. And you standing there and specifically doing your job and staying professional and answering the questions that you are asked, even though they may be asked several different ways, and you're clear on all the ways that they're being asked, and the answer is the answer, and there's nothing that you are trying to hide. You're simply coming before council as requested and answering questions about your position. I think another thing that my colleague in the 4th Ward was 100% correct about is nowhere on this agenda, nowhere in this master fee is your salary. And so that's not a reason to hold up a vote about a master fee schedule. And so I want to, I'm sorry, what are we doing? Anyway, so again, just thank you for your grace under pressure. Thank you for coming to simply try and do your job. And again, you were clear on the fact that you are currently only running the Mays Center and Community Service Center, the Mays Senior and Community Service Center, because that is the only one that is open right now. And so that's the one that you can answer for, because that's the one that contractually the only one that you can run. You can't run something that's not open. You can't have answers for something that's already up in the air. So thank you very much. Actually, you'll probably have to do it on someone else's time, Mr. Moore.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the second round?
Could I make a comment?
Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
It was just pointed out to me that the job description and the job posting was posted, and if the city council were to check their emails, they can find the salary range and the job descriptions that were used for hiring the people.
Request for information.
What's your request?
I would like to have the personal service contract, because we know that.
Hold on, wait, whoa. Isn't that
That is
through
taking
me?
the floor. Go ahead. Ms.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Proceed, Mr. Yeah, were you done?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to add anything else, Ms. Wiggins?
No.
No, okay.
Here comes.
It was a competitive posting, but too.
You said it was competitive?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And thank you so much, Ms. Wiggins.
Request for information.
What's your request?
My request is, through you to the second ward, did we, she's being paid out of ARPA, did we approve?
No,
to pay
that's,
for the
no, I don't have that
Did
information,
we do
so
that?
it's, that, don't know, that should have been taken during your time.
ahead. Yes,
So,
go
thank
ahead.
you so much. Yeah, so you all can definitely have a seat. Thank you so much for your time and your commitment to the city. And so what we need to do is, you know, make good use of our time. Ask good questions during our time. That's what we are supposed to do. And so we have another senior citizen center that's slated to be open. And then we hear that it may not get a vote, or excuse me, the master fee schedule might not be a vote because of the executive director's salary. Not the same thing. And so hopefully we can pass this, because we need to have every single resource activated legally in this city that we can. And so we also need to pass this master fee schedule as well, because it determines clearly the master fees for this, for the city. This isn't our first time having an understanding what the master fee schedule is. We all know what it is, we know what it does, and we know what we need to do during this time. So I'll be remiss not to pass this. We had a long time to get all the details that we needed. We even had this weekend, Madam Chair. So when exactly did we get information, I guess, about the master fee schedule? When did we know that this was going to be on the agenda?
We received this resolution, let's see, today is what, the 21st?
Okay, 23rd.
Wait, no.
Oh.
We received it on Mother's Day, which was the 13th.
Oh, the 13th, okay, got it. And so we had the opportunity to get all the information that we needed. Seamus, could you please approach? Through you, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a couple of points that were raised to clarify. The job is posted and it's available there. I can send you the link. It's still actually there. You can see it. And it was a competitive process. So initially we put it out to bid for a contract. Nobody bid on it, so we went to the competitive process. But also on the funding source, City Council approved a resolution that Emily Dorr put up together a few months ago that paid for a number of positions, and 2 community centre liaisons were in that initial resolution that was approved by council. And that's what funds it.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Madam Chair.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Jarrett.
Through you to whomever from the administration can speak to the water sewer bill rates on the fee schedule.
Mr. Moore.
Mr. Moore, line 634 through 637, residential city meter size. And these are, if I understand correctly, the lines that are serving the homes, and there are 4 different sizes.
Correct.
Okay, so if when your home was built, you have a 5/8 by 3/4, you pay this 20, I can't tell if that's a 6 or an 8, but you pay under $30.
Right, correct.
Size 1 inch or more, you pay $58 to have access primarily, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, is this the body then that can make adjustment to these?
Yes, but to make adjustments to the water rates is a more involved process. I would caution you that we need to make sure there's certain rules that we have to follow when we set.
So what do we have to do to lower the monthly access rate? Because someone bought a house not realizing they have a 1 inch or a 1.5 inch or a 2 inch, and I'm gonna pay forever double just to have access. Not that I'm using more, but to have access.
I believe there's a process that they can get a smaller size meter, which will reduce the flow, which will reduce the fee for the homeowner.
Okay, what adjustment though can be made to the fee itself? How do we go about that? Changing this 58 maybe to 48 for a year?
the first step would probably be having a water rate study. There's when you set water rates, you have to make sure that you meet certain guidelines that are established by the state. And so you can't just, you can't have arbitrary rates between the different steps. You have to, there's a process that you have to follow. You have to meet certain criteria in order to set the rates.
Okay. So we're not the body that can work to do that.
Well, you can give us some feedback and we can get the work done, but there is a process. It's not as easy as just lowering the rates. You have to make sure that the different rates are.
Mr. Moore, you can continue on my time. I'm the only one who hasn't spoken.
You have to make sure that the different rates meet the criteria that the state has.
Okay, so Mr. Moore, Eagle set some of this. I know that I had a business in my ward that called me up complaining that her water rates went up. And Eagle, she had been being billed as a residential when it was a business, and Eagle made the city change it and charge her business rates.
Right.
So Eagle does have some control over what we charge. Even though it's our water system, they have some oversight.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. This is the vote to send resolution 250155-T, adoption of the fiscal year 2026 master fee schedule.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is absent. Ms. Burns?
No.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
No.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin is absent. Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
And vote is 4 yes, 2 no.
The vote is 4 yes, 2 no. That motion fails. I'll entertain another motion. There's a motion on the floor by the councilwoman and councilman in the 8th ward to keep it in finance. Is there support?
Support.
It's been supported by the councilwoman in the 6th ward. This is the vote.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat? Yes. Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. Just for people's understanding that without this master fee schedule, we are in jeopardy of not passing the budget on time. The next one is 250156-T, assessment street lighting costs fiscal year 2026. Is there a motion? Go ahead.
I would like to move that resolution to council.
Is there, it's been moved by Councilwoman in the 2nd ward. Is there support? It's been supported by the Councilwoman in the 7th ward. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Through you, Madam Chair, to Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore, is there any kind of I can't remember if it was you that I was speaking to about what we're going to do with the funds that we have in this account. Was it you?
We had a brief conversation about that.
Okay. Has there been any, Madam Chair, can you bring order?
Please, people, we are trying to listen.
I
And
think it's
that,
coming
and
from-
that actually, it's on both sides of the chambers.
Coming
It's
from
both the
administration.
administration and in the audience.
Has there been any discussions inside of administration on this light up the city plan or whatever that hit the press about how we're going to spend these monies?
I'm not sure I understand we have talked about how we want to replace all the.
You know, I think my conversation was with Ashley. That's why it's probably foreign to you. I think it was Ashley that was.
Okay, I think Ashley's here.
Is Ashley here?
Ashley, are you here? Is Ashley here?
No, I don't see her. Is she?
Okay.
No.
No.
Okay. That's why we had an in-depth conversation with Ashley on the special meeting. Given the amount of money that we have in this account of nearly, I don't have it in front of me, it was between 4 and 5 million, maybe more. Is there any thought, which is 2 years in reserve, is there any thought of reducing this assessment?
We have had some discussions about that with the new lights. We're hoping in the long term that will reduce our overall cost for the.
Well, I hope so. It was told that we were going to reduce it by 50%.
Right. So we have had some discussions about trying to reduce it. Internally, we've talked about reducing it by $7 to $8. That would bring it down approximately 10-12%, and because we don't want to completely lose the.
No, and I'm with you, and I'm not necessarily advocating that we lower it. I'm advocating we either lower it or we spend the money and get rid of all these dark spots in the city, because we have all this money, so why not use it?
Well, we are planning to expand the number of lights. The plan is to overlay the dark spots with the crime maps and hit those areas first and make them a lot brighter. And then we're planning to do that throughout the city, and we're hoping to make the city a lot brighter over time.
When is that going to start, Mr. Moore?
That would be an Ashley question.
Okay. I'll listen to my other colleagues and what they want to do to this, but to me, we have 2 years in reserve, and we just spent $2 million of ARPA dollars to lower our operating costs by allegedly 50% is what we were told. So I would like to see a plan or like to see us reduce this. So, but to me, to keep charging the same amount when we have such a surplus in this fund, why not give it back to the residents? That's my point. Because, I mean, why not give it back to the residents and take whatever we give back on this, and instead of raising garbage 30% next year, maybe we change that garbage number this year and reduce this one so it's an offset of equal cost. I mean, to me, that makes more sense than throwing a 30% garbage on next year out of the blue when we have excess funds in this one.
Yeah.
So, do you have an opinion on that, Mr. Moore?
I think I'd be indifferent. I wouldn't be opposed to that. That'd be fine.
All right, I'll listen to my colleagues. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Any other discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Oh, go ahead, Mr. Jarrett.
Through you, wow. Yeah, to Mr. Moore, thank you. So what is it going to take, or what would it take to start the process to do the offset that the councilman in the 8th Ward is?
I think just give it the staff direction that you'd be interested in that. We could draft a resolution to do that.
Okay. So direction to the staff to write a resolution to do such.
To reduce the water, or reduce the streetlights and to increase the trash by an equal amount. And I think we can come up with a number that would achieve the results that you're looking for.
Is that something you think we can have complete by the next committee meeting?
Yes,
Set
sir.
of committee meetings?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if I understood sort of what was said prior to us getting to this resolution coming out of the vote of the last, and I think what I heard was the budget is not now gonna be able to be approved in this meeting. Does this resolution have any impact on the budget?
No, the budget would be fine.
Point of
we'll be okay.
information. It actually impacts the property tax bills.
It's a special assessment, actually.
Yeah, so it impacts the property tax bills.
So this one also is gonna have impact then on,
The way we appropriate is by the expenditures. The expenditures aren't going to change. And so that wouldn't have much of an impact on the budget resolution itself, but we would need to change the street lighting resolution and the trash resolution for the special assessments. And that we could do fairly quickly.
okay. Thank you, I yield.
Thank you. Any other discussion in the first round? Any other discussion in the first round? Stacy, did you have something you wanted to say? I'll take my time if you wanted to say anything on this. Okay. No, she doesn't want anything to do with it. So I'm still going to take my time. I did think about this, about possibly reducing it at $1 or $2, just so that it doesn't impact us too much, because we do need additional streetlights in the city. The question is how much are those streetlights going to cost? And I looked at the resolution that we approved last month on the streetlights, and it doesn't say how much those are going to be. But I know that when we approved the ARPA budget, that the 2.8 was going to include additional streetlights, but the estimate actually came in a little higher without the additional streetlights. So, and I was told by the gentleman that I know who is in charge of this program that it's going to take about a year to change all the light bulbs over to the LEDs.
It'll take some time.
Yeah, and so I don't know that we will see a large benefit to it until fiscal year 27.
Correct.
But I am not opposed to changing it $1 or $2 or something like that, or we can just leave it as is and use that fund to upgrade more streetlights or add more additional streetlights. So, but also by not changing it, we're not affecting anything. Additional property taxes are going to go up just because assessments went up. But not the, I'm talking about the taxable value assessments, not the special assessments like the garbage and this. So I'm kind of hesitant about reducing it, although I did think about it, until we know what the impact of this will be and how much it will cost us to replace street lights, and so that maybe this can be a big reduction in savings for fiscal year 27 and not for fiscal year 26. So I think that we just don't have enough information at this time to change for any large amount of dollars. So that's where I'm at on this. I'm like ambivalent. I would love to reduce a couple bucks on the taxes, but if it's going to jeopardize adding streetlights to the city, I'm not sure I want to do that either. So time for the second round. Anybody want to do the second round? Any discussion on the second round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Mr. Moore, you said that there was discussions that we could possibly lower this up to $8.
Yeah, that'd be at the high end, but yes, sir.
I'm sorry?
That'd be at the high end, but yes.
That'd be the high end. Madam Chair, I make a motion to amend the resolution to 250156.1 to reduce the dollar value in paragraph 5 from $72.18 to $64.18. $64.18, and I so move.
6418. There's a motion on the floor to amend.
Madam Chair, also in the last, be it resolved, is also the same dollar value. I'd like to change.
Okay. To amend the dollar value to 6418. Is there support? And that was by the councilman in the 8th ward. Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved and properly supported to amend Resolution 250156 to 6418.
Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, do we got,
We have discussion.
yeah, I'll take the first round. Mr. Moore, I only make this to put that same $8 on the trash contract, on the trash waste of things. So it will be a net even to the residents. Is that a correct statement? If we take $8 from this and put it onto the waste.
That makes a lot of sense, yes.
And is this something that the administration would support?
I would think so. I'm not sure I can speak for it, but I would say, yeah, my recommendation would be to go ahead and support that. I think
Okay.
that's.
And I do this because we have 2 full years in reserve of the street light assessment in this account. We spend about 2.5 and we have over 5. So we have 2 full years of support in this account if we didn't collect any dollars. And we know for a fact that trash is going up next year. And this right here will cushion that impact. Is that a correct statement?
Yes.
Thank you. So this isn't to lower taxes, this is to cushion next year. Because we know that next year a big deficit is coming in the waste account.
Yeah, it balances, it works out. It's a better balance of how we're assessing.
Okay. So we're taking $8 from the streetlight assessment, and we're going to lower the streetlight assessment, and then when we get to the next one, the solid waste, which is the trash one, I'm going to vote or make a motion to raise that by $8. So next year, when we have to raise it by 30%, now we only maybe have to raise it by 10%, instead of next year, we have to do all 30%. So, because, yeah, I guess there's no other way to explain it, right?
Yeah, I think it makes, there's a lot of good argument for that.
Okay, thank you. I'll yield the rest of my time. If my colleagues have any other questions or comments or concerns that I'm not privy to, I'll listen to them and yield the rest of my time. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Mr. Moore, did you get that?
Yes, yeah.
So we're clear with what Councilman Pfeiffer is saying, because that's what I'm supporting. But I want to make sure that Mr. Moore has got it so that we don't get in translation or in resolution, get it.
Right, that makes a lot of sense.
All right, thank you.
Any other discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair. So I do understand exactly what my colleague is saying in the 8th Ward about the surplus that we have in lighting assessment, and why it is important that, because we did talk about being proactive when we discussed what we needed to do with the garbage assessment. So it is your opinion today as the CFO that the changes that are being proposed are changes that will not have any negative impact on street lighting, that next year we will not have to raise an assessment, that that we have enough of a surplus to where we'll be fine this year and next year as far as street lighting assessment goes.
Right.
All right. And then it is also your understanding as the CFO that this is not changing anything on any property tax, even though we're lowering the street lighting assessment. We're simply moving that over so that cushions the blow for any possible, because hopefully by next year, because we had this conversation before, the garbage assessment, that we'll have a steady plan, but this is something that will add to the plan and give you something more to work with next year when we talk about garbage assessment.
Right. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? I'll take a few minutes, and, Mr. Pfeiffer, I've discussed the need that we are not billing enough for garbage. Heather can acknowledge that as well. So I can support this 100%. It's not changing the amount of special assessments we're billing, but it's moving the money around. Thank you. Any discussion in the second round? Any discussion in the second round? This is the vote to amend Resolution 250156 to the dollar amount of $64.18 in the appropriate places in the be it resolved and any other necessary place in the resolution.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
I'll send the 250156.1 to council.
It's been moved by the councilman in the 8th ward, and it's seconded by the councilwoman in the 7th ward to send to council. Is there any discussion, or shall we just go ahead and vote? Call the vote. Okay, any discussion? Okay, let's go ahead and vote. This is a motion to send 250156 to council.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. That will be sent to council. The next resolution is 250157, user fee municipal solid waste costs fiscal year
Send to council.
2026. There's a motion on the floor to send to council by the councilman in the 8th ward, supported by the councilwoman in the 7th ward.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
making a motion to amend 250157 to 250157.1 to change the amount in paragraph 7,
21056.
210 from 20256 to 21056 in that paragraph, and be it resolved on page 2, the same amount.
Okay, there's motion on the floor to make any necessary changes.
Support.
All right, it's been moved by the councilman in the 8th ward, supported by the councilwoman in the 7th ward to change the amount to 21056. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
So, just so we're clear on the, because apparently clear needs to be the word of the day, clear. This will be no tax increase to the residents of the city of Flint that receive trash services. Their overall tax bill will not be increasing. Is that a correct statement, Mr. Moore?
That is correct.
Okay. So any dwellings 4 units or less that receive trash service will not see a property tax or assessment increase. It will be leveled out between the lighting and the trash that they paid from the year prior and the year prior to that. Is that a correct statement?
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion?
Hold on, Paul.
Oh.
Paul's got it.
Yeah, I just want to clarify, that's true as long as the resident has lighting and garbage. If they have one or the other, they may have a decrease or an increase if they don't have both.
Well, every unit that is single family or 4 units or less receive the lighting and the trash.
That's correct.
Correct. Okay.
Okay.
Then next year, when we revisit the budget and the budgetary numbers for the solid waste pickup, maybe it's less of a burden next year than it is if we did not do this. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Madam Chair, I yield.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I do want to thank my colleague in the 8th ward for being clear. Mr. Moore, thank you also for providing clarity on the fact that us moving this money over here will assist in any avoidance of increases for the garbage assessment that we need to do next year. So thank you both for being extremely clear. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? I do need 5 members up here in order to vote on this resolution. I don't know.
Madam Chair,
I'm
I
ask-
think,
yes.
I think by rule we have to be in recess.
No, because she's still in chambers. She's still in chambers. I'm asking for council members to retake their seats so that we can vote on this resolution. She must have. I don't know, she's not going. Okay, this is the vote to send resolution 25.
Point of order.
Yes.
This is to amend.
Oh, this is the amendment, thank you so much. This is the vote to amend 250157 to 250157.1.
Mr. Jarrett.
Yes.
Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat? Yes. Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. This is, now I'll entertain a motion to send to council.
So moved.
It's been moved by the councilman in the 8th ward, supported by the councilwoman in the 7th ward. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, this is the vote to send resolution 250157.1 to council.
Dr. Lewis is absent. Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. That will be sent to council. Our next resolution is 250158-T, 2025 operating millage, City of Flint DDA. Yeah, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to move it to council.
Councilwoman in the 7th ward made a motion to send 250158 to council. Is there support?
I'll support it for discussion.
It's been supported by councilman in the 8th ward. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Mr. Pfeiffer.
So, I'm not ready to support this tonight. The DDA has not provided us their budget. The city attorney, is requesting that. I believe, Mr. Moore, she has sent you a letter to review to send to the DDA.
I've received the letter, and I'll go out in tomorrow's mail.
Okay. So until we get that budget from the DDA, which in their bylaws says that they have to submit it to us, I'm not ready to support this. And given that they've lost all of their parking meters, I really want to see their budget and how they're spending the money. Maybe it's time to dissolve the DDA if we got to keep bailing them out. So until I get that information, I'm not ready to support this. But like I said, I supported this so we could talk about it and I could explain my position. But until we get the budget from the DDA and we can overlook that with scrutiny, then I'm not ready to support this. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Mr. Moore, you said that it was on its way.
I'll be sending the letter out to them. Most years, the City Council isn't this far ahead in the budget process. We normally would receive the budget from the DDA about now. We did, well,
They've always
one year
held
I've been here, that
held
we did
it up.
last year.
Yeah.
But we will send the letter out, and I'm sure we'll receive something.
Well, they didn't present it until 2 years ago when I think Attorney Gurley was in the deputy,
Okay.
where we knew then that we were supposed to get their budget. And that's where she found that was in their bylaws. And that is that was one of my concerns, that Councilman Pfeiffer, you know, how are they offset? Because parking meters they had them they're everywhere, you know, and so how are they offsetting that? Because if those funds were generating, how much revenue were they used to those meters generating? And, you know, without that revenue loss, how are they handling that in their budget? Because and I don't even know if we know when the meters are coming back at all. So those could be some long-term issues. Does anybody from the administration know if their meters are coming back, that they find another company? Okay. All right, well.
I don't think we know.
Yeah, we never know, you know, and that was one of the issues, even with that $20,000 with eyelashes, hoodies, and travel with their budget. We didn't know with those funds, and I think that we do, and it's just fair that we do things decent and in order to get those. And if they're not getting those meters back, that's going to be a huge, we've always had meters, not always on the side streets, but we've always had them like downtown to offset, you know, we always had them. I mean, I don't want the meters back, don't get me wrong, because I have gotten a lot of tickets. But if we don't have them, it's our fiduciary responsibility to make sure what is in place for that part of their budget, because those meters were paying for a part of their budget. And how are they paying for the bonds for the Rutherford parking lot? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay. So, which will probably come back onto the city of Flint, because we are responsible for any of their shortfalls unless someone gets us a cashier's check from the bank in Fenton. So, I'm done. Thank you. Candace, I think. Oh.
Is there any other discussion in the first round? Any other discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
if I may, I just wanted to respond to Ms. Burns' inquiry about the meters without going into depth or anything. The meters have been purchased, they've been ordered and purchased. So, but as far as installation and all that, I don't really have the details, but I do know that they have ordered new meters for downtown.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion in the first round? Any other discussion in the first round? Any discussion in the second round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
To you, to the city clerk, I know you can't get into detail now, which is important because we're in budget time. Is there expectation date for those, and how many of the meters are they getting? Do you know? Because I don't think they were doing the side streets again and the back streets and.
Right. I don't want to just speculate, but I could get that information for you and provide it to council. So.
Also, thank you, and also the amount that they get for the revenue from meters.
Okay.
If we could get those.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Any other discussion in the second round? Any other discussion in the second round? Okay, go ahead. This is the councilman in the 8th ward, supported by the councilwoman in the 7th ward, made a motion to remain in finance. This is the vote.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. That will be staying in finance. The next motion is 250159, the 2025 operating millage, City of Flint taxable valuation of real and personal property.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'm gonna make a motion to amend it to the copy that we got placed on us to the 18.9948 amount. So I'm gonna amend it to a .1.
When did we get that?
It was on our stack today.
Oh, you're right, because I had this one from last week and I forgot it. I've got it somewhere in this pile, I've got it.
So I'm gonna make a motion to amend it to a .1 to,
Here it is.
does the public have a copy of this out there, Madam Chair, or Madam Clerk? Because we're not just, the whole language of it changed, so is this a .1 or does this need to be a walk-on?
This would be a .1.
Because this isn't something that I can just verbally do, because the language changed quite a bit.
Okay, so there is a motion on the
Hold-
floor.
Madam Chair, hold on one second,
Okay.
please. I wanna- Should this be a .1 or should this be a, I understand that, but usually it's a minor change. This is a complete change. The language changed quite a bit.
You can do a walk-on. Would it be better to do a walk-on, Madam Clerk?
Yeah, without
Okay.
saying an add-on, but
Okay,
yes, let's
Madam
just
Chair,
give it a new
Madam
number.
Chair, I make a motion to postpone indefinitely 250159.
Okay, there's a
Support.
motion on the floor, supported by the councilman in the 8th Ward, supported by the councilwoman in the 6th Ward, to postpone indefinitely Resolution 250159.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Can't spell it.
Ms. Mashat? Yes. Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
The vote is 6 yes, 0
The
no.
vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
Madam Chair?
Yes, go
I'm
ahead.
making a motion to send a walk-on or add-on number 1 to council.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to send add-on number 1, to council. Motion made by Councilman in the 8th Ward, supported by the Councilwoman in the 7th Ward. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair?
Yes, go ahead.
Through you to Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore, I think it's basically a decimal point that we're reducing, or Stacy. Do you percentage-wise what the assessment will be lower? Is it less than 1%?
Yes, it's about half.
Very
a percent,
nominal.
maybe?
0.99, 4 or 5.
It's roughly a 0.5%.
0.5%, okay.
From the overall, for all the millages for the city, we'll be dropping about $10,000 for all the different millages that we have.
I'm sorry, say that again?
For all the different millages that we have, the amount that would be reducing is about $10,000.
For the entirety of the city?
Yeah.
That's not per each resident. I just
No,
wanna
no.
I just want to be clear.
That's for the entire city.
So we're talking maybe some residents, it's going to be less than, obviously, it's going to be less than $1.
It's going to be a rounding error for most people.
Okay, all right. So we're probably spending more money printing this than we're going to
Yeah,
save.
we just
Thank
have to do it because it's state law.
Yeah, no, I understood. So this is a tax reduction, however, it is, unless you look at a decimal point, you're not going to notice. Is that a correct
Right.
statement? Okay. Thank you. I yield.
Any other discussion in the first round? Any other discussion in the first round? Any discussion in the second round? Okay, this is the vote to approve add-on number 1.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
And the vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. That would be sent to council. Okay. Our next resolution is 250160. Adoption fiscal year of FY 2026, City of Flint budget. I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I move that we send this to council.
There's a motion on the floor to send this to council. Is there support? Support. It's been moved by the councilwoman in the 2nd ward, supported by the councilwoman in the 7th ward to send to council. Is there any discussion? Any discussion?
Madam Chair. Oh.
Miss, I'll get Miss Donahue. Yes, Madam Clerk.
I believe Mr. Pfeiffer
You yield
wanted to
Mr.
speak as
Pfeiffer?
well, but
I'm
I just
sorry,
want to
can't
point
hear.
out that there's at least one amendment that will need to be made to the resolution if there aren't amendments to the budget. But that is just to correct, in the 4th paragraph, the millages
Yeah.
do not match what was just
Okay.
when
All
moved to
right.
council. So we would need to amend this resolution to reflect the 18.98 millages. So I just want to point that out.
Thank you.
And also, procedurally, when you do the budget adoption resolution, you do vote on every amendment, and then we only do a .1 for every amendment that passes.
Okay, thank you. Does everybody understand that? So we won't make it a .1 until every amendment has been made and approved. So is there any discussion in the first round?
So, Madam Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
so we vote to amend, just for clarity, we vote to amend, and then all the amendments,
We'll roll up into a .1.
and then we'll do one final amendment for a .1. So technically, we're voting on the amendments twice?
If I may,
Yes, go
you're making amendments to the budget, so you'll vote on amendments to the budget. And then, because this resolution reads, it's a resolution to adopt the budget as proposed. If you make amendments to the budget, then the resolution would need to be amended to say, with the following amendments. And then those amendments that you approve would be listed.
Okay.
But it would only be that 1.1. If you don't make any amendments to the budget, then it would go through. But I would have to amend it to reflect that millage correction, so.
Mr. Pfeiffer, you have the floor.
So it's not it's not a, if I make an amendment, do I lose my 5 minutes?
Each amendment is allowed standard discussion.
So each amendment would be basically a new motion? Okay. Then I will, then I guess first and foremost, I'll make the amendment to adjust the changes of the millage. And I so move.
So there's a motion on the floor by the councilwoman in the 8th ward, supported by the councilwoman in the 7th ward, to change the millage rate to reflect what was in the add-on number 1. Is there any discussion?
Yes. Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
And just to be clear to public, this is changing the millage amount from 19.1 mils to the new reduced amount of 18.9948. It's a slight reduction we just spoke about in the last discussion item. So that's what this is for. Thank you. I yield.
Any other discussion on this amendment? Any other discussion on this amendment? Seeing none, this is the vote for this amendment.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
Vote is 6 yes, 0 no. Okay, so
Wait, did I just screw? I just lost my time. I just screwed up, didn't I? I did. That's,
yeah, but we'll have additional opportunities. We'll have additional opportunities. If we need to add a discussion round, we can vote to do that. Is there any other discussion? Any other discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
So this is the time that we need to amend any budget changes to the budget, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So through you to the city clerk. City clerk, how much did we add on for travel for council?
So that amount was increased from 15,000 to 25,000. So 10,000 was added to this year's budget.
From 15,000 to 25,000?
Correct.
Okay. I would like to amend the budget to take it back down to 15,000.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to amend the budget, council budget for travel to 15,000, and that was by the councilwoman of the 7th Ward. Is there support?
That was 6.
Or, sorry, 6. I'm so sorry. 6. Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved and properly supported. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So through you, Madam Clerk, since travel isn't a line item,
It's actually conferences, I think.
I'm sorry?
I think it's actually conferences.
Which item would we be reducing? Because I want to be clear, travel is not a line item budget, so how would you do this change in your, or in this, in your budget as well as this budget?
The council budget, it's under education, training, and conferences, is what Ms. Burns is referring to.
So are we looking at, Mr. Moore, when we make changes, are we making changes to, and Madam Clerk, are we making changes to these forms, or are we making changes to the individual funds like this? What gets changed when?
What would change is the operating, supplies and operating expenses for the city council.
So
the different categories are something that's already specified.
So it would basically be for, on this form, and
Right.
it'd be under 04, supplies and operating expenses.
Right.
Right, 0404? Line, or section 04, and then subsection 04? City clerk total, and, no, that's city clerk elections.
If you want city council, that'd be 01.
I'm sorry?
Did I hear that was city council, or was that city clerk you're looking for?
So if we change the supplies and operating expenses, because that's the category it'd be under, correct?
That's correct.
So what, Madam Clerk, would you reduce that amount, or would you go into your sub-amount to change that? So would you reduce the, because we're reducing that category by 10, but travel is not a category on this budget.
Right. As I stated, I know that what Ms. Burns is referring to is the education, training, and conferences. And when she states she wants to take it back down, I'm not sure exactly if it would still stay in the budget and it could be moved somewhere else within the operating expenses.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not sure how that would work as far as finance would consider it, but I would definitely be able to find another place to put it, but I just know that she's talking about that education, training, and conferences. I'm not sure if it would go back into the general fund or not.
Yeah, I want to make sure that we do the scalpel cuts that we want to do it and not.
I would reduce the supplies and operating expenses for the department that you're trying to reduce.
But that doesn't necessarily get as detailed of a cut as Ms. Burns just proposed.
Well, with the notes that the city clerk is taking, we will adjust that line item, because we have more detail in the system.
Okay.
And we would reduce that to meet the resolution.
Okay. So, in your opinion, is the motion on the floor detailed enough to do that?
We can do that, yes, sir.
And the motion is to take it from 25 to 15. Is that a correct statement, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
And 25 is what you had in that category?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. I yield.
Is there any other discussion in the first round? Any other discussion in the first round? Any discussion in the second round? Seeing none, seeing none, this will be the discussion to amend the council travel from 25,000 to 15,000.
Dr. Lewis.
No.
Ms. Priestley.
No.
Ms. Burns.
Yes.
Ms. Mashat. No. Mr. Pfeiffer.
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett.
Yes.
The vote is 3 yes, 3 no.
The vote is 3 yes, 3 no. That motion fails. Any other amendments? I have an amendment.
You can only do amendment if you haven't spoken, right? That's why we're doing it?
Yeah. I have an amendment, and that's to the Ombudsman's office, and I'm going to remove the 2 analyst positions that are budgeted for. I had told them that I would just do the 1, but upon reflection, seeing how they can't prove that the work is there for 2, I'm going to make a motion to remove both, and that would be personnel services would be reduced by $200,092. Pension and OPEB is $94,619. Supplies and operating expenses, $49,000. Those are the revised numbers that you gave me, correct? So for a total of reduction in their budget of $343,711.
Madam Chair, no offense, you were throwing numbers out there. I wasn't ready to write it down. What is the total amount that you were proposing for that? Do you have the total amount?
I do not have the total. I just have the changes for this budget. Mr. Moore, let me look at the Ombudsman.
Because, Madam, point or request for information.
Yeah, what's
the proposed is 467. You're 467, 549, right?
Okay, we have to fund it by $250,000.
Correct.
Okay, then that hasn't been seconded.
Are you going to make a motion to
Wait a
put
minute,
it just at 250?
Wait a minute. Per position, for 2 positions. Mr. Moore, can you approach? This is the revised budget amount? Oh, okay, that's what it is. All right, thank you very much. So I'm going to take this back, and I'm going to say that this will be the revised budget. I don't know the exact amount that's being reduced without doing calculations in my head. So personnel services would be $200,092. Pension and OPEB would be $94,619. Supplies and operating expenses is $49,000 for a total budget allocation of $343,711. And I so move.
I'll support it for discussion.
So it's been moved by the Councilwoman in the 4th Ward, supported by the Councilman in the 8th Ward to amend the budget to $343,711.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I will not be supporting this. I will only be supporting putting it at the charter minimum of $250,000. To me, we haven't got a report out of the Ombudsman office since our tenure began. They haven't had a ombudsperson there. To me, I think there's a legal discussion on whether the administration can even hire because it's a conflict, because how can they hire for,
Administration doesn't, EAB hires.
for any of the positions. For the analyst positions, we shouldn't be posting analyst positions. That should come from the ombudsperson. So how can the administration hire for analysts when we don't even have an ombudsperson? The ombudsperson should handle the hiring of the analyst once the EAB decides what they're going to do. So to me, it should be a minimum at $250,000, and once they get an ombudsman, that ombudsman can come before us with a plan on how they're going to do anything. So, Madam Chair, I applaud your wanting to cut analyst positions, but to me, that whole ombudsman office is a no-show job that nothing comes out of it. I don't want to speak derogatory because there's nobody there to speak derogatory about. I think people make complaints and they get stored away till maybe Christ comes back. I don't know. But to me, the EAB is derelict in their duties in hiring an ombudsperson, for one. So maybe we should sue them. But this right here will not get a vote from me. It's mandated by charter for 250. Until they get an ombudsperson, there's nobody there to tell me budget-wise why they need $343,000. So to me, this is the administration trying to run the ombudsman's office by giving us any amount more than 250. So to me, that is a direct
Point of information.
Yes, ma'am.
The EAB actually developed their own
Well,
budget.
they don't have authority to hire.
No, but they came before us. They were
But
the
I
ones.
understand that, but they don't have the authority to, where does the EAB present the ombudsman's office? That's nowhere to be. I understand they came, and great for coming, but how much effort did you put into these budget numbers, and should that been directed to actually hiring an ombudsperson? So to me, it's 250 minimum, or this amendment doesn't get my vote.
Any other discussion in the first
Madam
round?
Chair.
Go ahead.
I will not be supporting anything other than what the charter mandates. In the city of Flint, it should not even be an HR, because that selection process, when it first started, when the charter was adopted, the HR did not go through and filter for an ombudsman. That was not the process. The process went through, every application went through and was given to the Ethics and Accountability Board. And I'm not supporting anything other than the $250,000. They are in violation. I don't even know how they're hearing anything that's any complaints, because the charter clearly states the process is that it goes through to the ombudsman. The ombudsman then handles complaints over to the board. And they have not had what they consider to be a qualified ombudsman since October 2022. So they shouldn't be processing anything, making any recommendations, because they are in violation of the city charter. I will only be supporting the $250,000, which is mandated by the charter. I yield the floor.
Any other discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
So during budget hearings, when they were here in front of us to discuss the ombudsperson's office and the staff that is currently in the office and the work that is currently being done, which during budget hearings, they made it clear that basically no work is being done. And so I am in total agreement that unless this goes down to the 250 that is mandated in the charter, I will not support any other amendment. This won't even get a vote for me if it's anything other than the 250. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussions? Any other discussion? I'll take some time. You know, I agree with you guys on the 250,000. I absolutely do. I've never been a big fan of this department. I requested their report. In the 3.5 years we've been on council, we have not received a single report from the EAB. And Mr. Harris and I had a discussion, and I read in the charter that he thought it says may, and I said, no, it says shall. And you may offer improvements. It's not, it says you shall report to us annually. So I have no problem to change it, and I'll so move to amend to a total of $250,000. I don't know how that would be broken out. But can we do the motion as amended per the finance department because of the wages and the benefits
Just
have to match.
250 total.
Yeah, it's 250 total, but it has to be split out between wages and pension and.
Request for information.
Go ahead.
Do we need that information, or can we just do the total?
That's what I'm asking, Mr. Moore.
I believe it's in the charter that talks about how you adopt the budget, and it specifies you have to at least have it between personnel services and supplies and operating. The pension and OPEB can be rolled into the salaries, but the other two categories is what you're supposed to do. I could come up with an allocation for you at the next, next time you want to meet, we could have something for you on that.
So, Madam Chair, are you
Go
making
ahead.
a motion to 250 total pending the details?
Yep, that is my motion, making a motion to to amend it to $250 and with the details to be forthcoming.
I support.
Okay, been moved and properly seconded by the councilwoman, why do I want to call you councilwoman, Mr. Pfeiffer? Councilman in the
Don't
8th
misgender
ward.
me.
Is there any other discussion? Any other discussion? Hearing none, this is the vote to amend ombudsman's, to the charter mandated amount of $250,000.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. That amendment passes. Are there any other amendments? Any other amendments
Well, Madam
in the
Chair,
first round?
yeah,
Yeah, we can, in the second round. Go ahead, Mr. Pfeiffer. You had another one?
Somebody else can go. I need a second.
Anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Through you to Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore, the law department has had their increases considerable. I don't know if you want, what was their budget back in 2019?
I don't have that with me, but I can easily get that. I can get you all the information from 2019 to the present if you want.
Because last year, we spent, was it how much did we, do you have your? I mean, we wasted a lot of money. I think even including the case against me when I was illegally removed was $61,000 or $63,000 using Butzel. So can you find out how much did they spend last year? And I'm sorry we're doing these one by one. Do you have that?
For the end of last fiscal year, we spent $1,277,717.
How much, we spent how much?
$1,277,717.
Is that check register back online?
Pardon?
The check register back online?
It's not online, but it's available in the finance department.
So what does that mean?
If you want to look at it, stop by and you can have a
I have
look
to
at
make
it.
a meeting to.
don't necessarily need to have a meeting, but it's available.
I need to schedule a time or
Just show up.
just show up? Okay, but I don't want to show up at a bad time.
Okay.
Now, so we can't, so it's not available online anymore. So to show up, we use written copies of everything. And so showing up means we can't get a copy.
We don't, it's a problem putting it online because there are hackers and scammers out there that have been trying to scam us and scam our vendors. And
Request for
it makes it very difficult
What's
to
your
put it online.
request?
So, Ms. Burns, we can't get it emailed?
I've asked about the past 3 months, 4 or 5. I don't, it's been a long time. I have asked numerous times because it hasn't been up since June 24. And I have not received, I've asked to have all of us emailed a copy. Why didn't we get a copy? Because I've asked. Was it above you?
We're very concerned about having any of that information electronically because it has a tendency to
Yeah, but
get
I'm not
out
a hacker.
And we really don't want the hackers to get it.
I have just as much right to it as you do. And I've asked, and I haven't got, I mean, I'm not, until I see that, and that's, okay. I'm not supporting this budget with, that is important because we don't even know.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Any other amendments?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Mr. Moore, are you saying that our email is insecure?
I'm not, after the ransomware attack that we have, I think it's as secure as we can make it, but I would rather not, certain information I'd rather not.
Because we get other sensitive information via email all the time. So I just want to be clear, do we have a security issue with our email?
I think we have as secure as we can get it, but we know that this is an object that the hackers are trying to get a hold of.
So us getting a list of the check number and the recipient and the amount is a detriment to the city?
We've had people call up and try to impersonate the vendors, trying to get us to change their information so that we send the money or send the check to the wrong spot. That's not there have been times when we've had several of those in 1 week. I don't think we've had one this week, but we have had quite a few attacks like that. We've even had people try to change employee.
I understand that, but you're saying that sending it to council members, that information would get out from a council member about the check registry, and they would hack our email to get that information?
We're probably being very cautious, but just looking at the threat we have, we just feel it's safer to provide you, if you want to come in, we'll give you a copy of it.
Because by FOIA laws, and the attorney can correct me, by FOIA laws, I can FOIA it and get it. So, but we don't have to FOIA things as a council member, so why can't we get it emailed to us? So, Mr. Moore, Ms. Donahue, can you send an email to Mr. Moore? And I've done this already, but I want to officially request the check register ever since it's been taken down offline from online. And I want to, Madam Clerk, can you send that to them so we can put this on the record? Even though you have the same email from me previously, I want to make sure that they're there. So since I'm going to lose my time, Madam Chair, do we make a motion to have additional rounds now? Because this is the second round, there's no third round, so
Yeah.
how do we make more?
You can make the motion.
I'll make a motion to have 5 more rounds? And I so move.
It's motion.
Of the 3-minute round.
3 minutes only. There's a motion on the floor to add 5 rounds of 3 minutes. Is there support?
Support.
Add in the 5 rounds. We
There's
had unlimited during
it's
the
been moved and properly seconded by the councilman in the 9th Ward to have 5 additional rounds of 3 minutes each. This is the vote.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat? No. Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis?
No.
Ms. Priestley?
No.
The vote is 3 yes, 3 no.
Vote is 3 yes, 3 no. Mr. Pfeiffer, go ahead. Were you at your 3 minutes? Okay. Is there any other discussion? Any other amendments? Mr. Pfeiffer, point of, I wasn't going to go for 5 rounds. But we can do it again if we need. Well, just say 3, make a motion for 3 rounds. Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion that we add 3 rounds of 3 minutes.
There's a motion on the floor to add 3 rounds of 3 minutes each. Is there support? And supported by the councilman in the 8th Ward. This is the vote.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis? Is not in. Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Burns? Is not in.
Are you going to vote?
Dr. Lewis?
I'm not seated.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you don't have a quorum for the vote.
Okay, so that failed.
I'm done, Madam Chair, I'm leaving.
Okay.
If we can't make amendments,
Where's Tanya? Is she in the bathroom? Is she in the bathroom? Check the bathroom. Can you? Yes. 5-minute recess. I couldn't even see her. I think so too. Liddell still got her stuff here. She just wasn't. Okay. All right. Yeah. This meeting is adjourned at 5:21 due to lack of quorum. Or 8:46. I looked at the date. I looked at the date.